Hello, everyone. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Shamita.
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 Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, hi, hi. Hi, Tony. Hi, Molson Man. Hi, Max 2002. Hi, Betty's Beauty. Hi, Lupe. Hi, Momo. Hi, Cement Shoes. Hi, Renee New. Hi, Sleuths Investigate. What's kicking, y'all? Oh, wait, let me do that one thing for Molson Man. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. I kind of do a good Carol Baskin.
You do
You
look good,
do.
Carol Baskin. Can you sing the song for me?
Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him. Can't convince me it didn't happen. I need help. Hey, Crackling Rosie, True Crime, coolest reviews.
I was just watching
And
something on that. I think it was like a
shoes.
48 hours. Where the kids all believe that she did it too. I didn't know that.
Yes. Hey, guess what else? Vinnie Politan talked to old Joe Exotic today via the phone.
Seriously?
Yeah. I saw it in my feed and I marked it for watch later.
Yeah, send me that. Send me that
I
link.
will. Of course I will. Of course I will. Because I want to hear what he has to say. I want to hear what he has to say. Yeah. So tonight we have Deputy Travis. I can't read the rest of his name. Hold on a second. I'll look. Oh, I wasn't ready for you to play. Hemisath. I don't know. That's his name. And I think he's over the. I think he's the Google A expert, and is what he's checking out. All I remember last night is Mo telling me repeatedly, "Wait till you get to the detective. You're going to be mad. Wait till you get to the detective." So I'm assuming this is the detective that's going to make me mad.
You know, I don't know if it's this one or not.
Hey, Nonstop Mom. Maybe it is. I don't know. The whole case has made me frustrated. So who can say? I might actually like Travis, Deputy Travis. I don't know. Maybe I'll give a little shout out. Deputy Travis, call me. But not you, Care Bear. Don't you call me.
Momo's in chat. So this is the one that was annoying? Is it this one, not the next one? I get them mixed up.
Yeah, help us out, Momo. We don't know.
Is this the googly one?
Yeah. Did he do the Google Ace? Say it's the Googles for regular people. And then when you're fancy, like, and this is a fancy case, I feel like. So then it's the Google Ace.
It's the Google Ace.
Google Ace. When I'm feeling fancy. Yeah, I'm fancy today. Fancy AF. Okay, Mo. Perfect. All right, so let's play the interview because this his testimony is kind of long, and I'm going to try to put it on. We're going to start with 1.5 speed and see how we do.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I'm going to give you all the intro. All right. So, oh, it's funny that you bring that up, coolest reviews, because I found Dr. B showed me a different music library to use. So I've been monkeying around with that all day today. I got a video for you guys for the new series. I wanted to have it done by tonight, but then I was going one way with the concept, and then halfway through it, I changed my mind and then decided to go a different way. But I think you guys are going to like it. I'll have it done by tomorrow night. So it's got to be. I don't know. I get weird about that stuff. So, um, yeah, I wanted to highlight Betty's comment again. Um, yeah, I have to agree with you. I think, Betty, that she could have done well. It's not really her fault. She wasn't asked, but I think that more follow-up questions, especially really by both sides, pertaining to the injuries, would have been a good thing. And after the live ended last night, we were talking on StreamYard for a second, and hey, MJ, we were talking last night about a reenactment and how crucial it would have been in a case like this, because it's really hard to envision, an accident this way. And it's still a possibility that it was an accident, but it's one of those concepts that's so you just can't. It's really difficult to picture an act twice, or you know what I'm saying? So I think that's the problem. I think that's where I'm getting stuck. But I think if I were to maybe read the coroner's report, or even, I'm sure there is, I just don't, we have to request it, and I don't know what Iowa's policy is, because he's in the appeals process right now, and I don't know if they don't let you look at. Some states are like that. Some states, when Missouri is like that. If the defendant is in the appeals process, they'll release certain stuff as part of the Freedom of Information Act, but other stuff they won't. They'll seal it until, hey, Team Psych Ward, until the appeals process is over. So I feel like I'm kind of anxious to get through the trial so that we can sort of get caught up. I'm really curious to see what his appeal is based on. That's what I really like. I like the trials and I like the appeals. But so tonight, let me do all the stuff I've got to do to make us share the screen. We're going to hear the detective that annoyed Momo. All right, y'all ready? Here we go.
Be seated, everyone.
Oh, wait, I was going to skip a little forward.
Cement shoes, do you still feel that way now that you're watching it?
Mr. Honor, the state calls Travis.
What?
Cement shoes said that they never looked into the case. They thought it was open and shut. I'm wondering if they still feel that way now that we're watching.
Oh, yes. I'm curious about that too.
Hemasath?
Hemasath. Okay, thanks, Detective Hemasath.
The open doorway, and you take a immediate.
Oh, he got right into it. They didn't talk about his credentials for very long at all.
Basically, just doing it.
Deputy Thompson show you any specific area?
Yeah. So when we went to the location, because that's what I had asked Deputy Thompson, where was the body located? He had directed me to that location, and he had shown me where. He had described to me where they had located Amy, her positioning, where the corn rake was positioned, how it was laying, and everything that they have done up to that point.
What did you do then?
So I kind of took over for processing the crime scene and kind of analyzing the area. So I first started by basically just doing an overview of the building. I took note on if the door would open or close, how wide the doorway actually was. I actually entered, and then I took an immediate left, and you can tell that the walk space in between the sliding door in the front of the building and some chemical totes, was roughly 30 inches wide.
Was that the area that Amy Mullis' body was found in?
Yes. It was described to me that she was located in the middle of that door. So I took just a couple paces, and then there was a couple drops of blood on the floor, and that's where it was described to me that that's where she was positioned. It was described to me that she was positioned facing as if she was exiting the building. So as I enter, she would have been crouched facing me, and then it was explained to me how the rake was positioned in the corner, leading back to this dog crate. So I entered the building. I was explained all that, and I viewed the dog where the dog crate was, and then basically what I did is I looked on all the equipment in there, the totes, the wagon, augers on the floor itself. I was trying to look for any other indication of a fall, such as blood markings, any other markings on anything that would indicate an injury where she had fallen, anywhere else but where she was located.
And did you observe anything?
I did not.
Did you actually see the pet carrier?
Yes.
And where was the pet carrier located in relation to where Amy's body was found?
So when you enter the building, you enter the open doorway and you take an immediate left. You're going to walk down that 30-inch aisle between the door and the chemical crates, probably about 15, 20 paces. You're going to take a right and you're going to head to the rear of the shed. And that tote was straight ahead about, I'd say 30 paces, roughly.
What did you do then?
After I got done examining the inside of the shed,
Yes.
I went to the exterior of the shed, and on that night there was a light dusting of snow on the ground. So what I did is I checked the west side, the south side, and the north side of the shed just to make sure there was no indication of any other potential anybody would have came, footprints or anything like that.
And did you see any other footprints?
No, there's no indication.
What did you do then?
So then I talked to Deputy Thompson outside. He described to me the incident more. I guess after that, I looked around in the gravel out front to see if I could see any blood or anything to indicate that outside. I did not see anything. And as I left, I viewed the hog barns, because most generally hog barns have camera system installed on them. So the way I knew there was two hog barns. There was one to the north and one to the south. But where my vehicle was positioned, basically I just did a loop in the driveway and I left. And as I did a loop, I viewed the north hog barn to see if I could see any cameras on the exterior of the building. I did not see that. The south barn, it was dark over there. The yard light did not light that building up very well, so I didn't get a good look at that building.
What did you do next?
So then my next step in the investigation was I attended the autopsy down at the State Medical Examiner's Lab
And where was that located?
in Ankeny.
And did you bring anything to the autopsy?
Yes, I brought the clothing and the corn rake.
After that, what did you do with regards to the investigation?
So after that, obviously it was a homicide investigation. I corresponded with Special Agent John Turbot, and he and I had started basically discussing what we were going to do. I issued 19 search warrants, preservation letters, and I performed 30 to 34 interviews.
And when you say Special Agent John Turbot, who does John Turbot work for?
The Division of Criminal Investigations.
And why? How did John Turbot become involved in this investigation?
They're an assisting agency, so we had contacted them to assist with the homicide investigation.
And you indicated that you performed approximately 34 interviews.
30 to 34 right in there.
And at that same time that you were conducting your investigation, was Special Agent John Turbot also conducting interviews?
Yes.
Now, you also indicated that you executed 19 search warrants.
Yes.
What were those search warrants for?
So those search warrants were for electronics, cell phone records, Google records, Snapchat records, all sorts of communications. And that was on Todd Mullis's devices, and then Amy Mullis's phone, Tristan Mullis's. And we also executed a search warrant out at Todd Mullis's residence.
Did you actually collect all devices, electronic devices from the Mullis home?
Yes, we executed a search warrant at Todd Mullis's residence, and we collected all the electronic devices that he had in his possession, along with a camera system with a DVR unit at the home.
Was that on November 16, 2018?
Yes.
On that date, were there also pictures taken of the Mullis farm?
Yeah, so during that search warrant, we also took overview pictures of the farm, the layout, and the incident site again.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Deputy, I just handed you States Exhibit 70 to 103 and States Exhibit 111. Can you look through those briefly, please? First, let's talk about States Exhibit 111. What is that a photograph of?
This is an aerial view of Todd and Amy Mullis's farm.
And does that aerial photo truly and accurately depict the way the Mullis farm appeared on both November 10, 2018 when you went there, as well as November 16, 2018?
Yes.
And when you look at States Exhibit 70 through 103, what are those photographs of?
Those are the photographs we took the date of the search warrant.
And that would be November 16, 2018?
Yes.
And do those photographs truly and accurately depict the Mullis farm on that date as you've previously described it?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I would ask that States Exhibit 111 as well as 70 through 103 be admitted into evidence.
Any objection? Exhibits 70 through 103 and number 111 are all admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm asking permission to publish to the jury.
Yes.
Deputy, I'm first going to go through State's Exhibit number 111. What is this the photograph of?
This is the aerial view of Todd and Amy Mullis' farm.
Your Honor, this time I'm going to ask that the witness come down so that he can refer to the screen.
Go ahead.
I think Deputy Travis overdid it
Deputy, can
on
you
the
describe the buildings that you see here?
setting spray
This is considered the North Hog Barn.
with dew
The Hog Barn with
finish.
the office in it.
It's a little
Office
shiny.
is right here at the top of the building.
Needs
This
to
is south
powder
hall.
up a little
There's
bit.
no office in this building, just a loading chute.
Hold on, let
This is
me
going to be a
push
shop,
pause.
Okay, and this is going to be the residence.
Wait, what?
There's like a bright reflection. Like I need a little powder.
Yeah, like he got a little heavy-handed with the dewy finishing spray.
This guy's like 12. Why doesn't the prosecutor ask him how old he is?
I'd like to know. I'm going to go. I think he's older than 12. I think I'm going to say he's 14 and a half. Because you know when you're that age, you'd be answering the half.
Yeah. 14 and 3/4.
Now that I'm over 40, I'm just going to start answering people when they ask me how old I am. I'm just going to answer them in months.
Let them figure that shit out. I should totally do that too.
We should all start doing that.
Yeah, you want to fucking know how old I am? You figure it out.
Yeah, do the math.
This is west, this is north, this is south, this is east.
I'm trying to
This
do
is
the
the red
math
shed.
right now. Like how
These are
old?
the grain bends. These are considered the field barrels.
There's no way I can.
This is
I'm
the
going to have
road.
to bust out the
Runs north and south.
calculator for sure.
And the entrance into the residence is right here. It loops around and it comes around. You can exit down here as well.
And Deputy, just so we're clear, the red shed that Amy Mullis was found in, can you please indicate that for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
It would be the shed right here with the number 1 over the top of it.
And a moment ago, you pointed to something at the
I'm
top left-hand corner and indicated
540
that was the shop.
months.
Yes, the building with the number 7 on it is the shop,
And that is also a red building, correct?
red and white.
And you indicated a moment ago that when you went
Uh-oh. What happened?
in there, or I'm sorry, when you left the Mullis farm on November 10th, 2018, what building did you look at to see if there was a camera?
I looked at the North Hog building because as I exited the property, I drove through here and made a loop. So this building was not visible, but I looked at this building.
Thank you. You can go back to your seat.
This is very clever. Let's all do it. Let's all do it by dog ears.
Deputy, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 70. What is this a photograph of?
This is the north driveway of the property, just off the road.
And you can actually see the main road there.
Yes,
And is that the only main road that filters into the Mullis farm?
yes.
State's Exhibit number 71. What is this photograph of?
This is the residence of the home. This is from standing on the roadway. And that's also the north driveway, and the home is positioned right there.
Now, to the right of the house, there appears to be you could see a portion of a white building. What building is that on the farm?
That's the North Hog building that I described on the property.
And on the left of the house, you can see what appears to be a white building with some type of red awning. What is that?
That's the shop that's positioned on the north side of the property.
That is not the shed that Amy was found in.
No,
State's Exhibit number 72. What is this a photograph of?
this is a picture from the roadway, basically displaying the south driveway and the grain bins.
State's Exhibit number 73. What's located in this photograph?
This is also standing on the road, displaying that in the north driveway, the grain bins, the red shed Amy was found in, and the North Hog building.
State's Exhibit number 74.
So this is standing in the north driveway by the residence, depicting the red shed that Amy was found in, and the grain bins and the fuel barrels positioned to the right and just on the other side of the red shed.
State's Exhibit number 75.
So this is standing in the north driveway, and this is showing the red shed to your right by the tree, and the North Hog building all the way to your left, and in the center, that's going to be your South Hog barn.
And what hog barn were the information that you received were Todd and Tristan located in?
It's going to be the building on your left.
State's Exhibit number 76.
Same position. This picture displays the home to your left, the shop to your north with the big, the red and white building with the big shop door, and then the North Hog barn just on the right-hand side of the photo.
State's Exhibit number 77.
This is a picture in the north driveway as well. This displays the red shed that Amy was found in, the fuel barrels to the left, and the grain bins just to the south of the red shed.
State's Exhibit number 78.
This is positioned back in the middle of the yard, just to the west of the North Hog barn. This shows the aerial view of the red shed, the fuel barrels, and how the grain bins lay on the property.
And State's Exhibit number 79. What's located in that photograph?
This is a picture of the residence, so you're going to be positioned in between the North Hog barn and the shop.
State's Exhibit number 80.
Hey, Heather, whatever.
Same location, just a little bit further back to show how the red shed is positioned onto the property.
State's Exhibit number 81.
Same thing, picture of the red shed, the fuel barrels, grain bins to the rear. You're actually in the middle of the yard.
Is he saying green bins or grain bins?
Or-
Bins.
State's Exhibit number 82.
Grain,
This is going to be a
Oh, grain
like-
bins.
like grain bins.
Yeah, I thought he was saying green, and I was like, "There's no green. That's not green. Where's the green
That's a tree, you
talking
doofus.
about?" I was like, "Why are you taking picture of bins? Green bins? I don't see any green bins. Where are these green bins?" But grain bins makes more sense. Grain bins, okay.
Picture standing right by the North Hog Barn, facing the red shed.
Yes, he
This
is
kind of by the office area.
grain
facing
bins
straight to the
and
red shed that
hog
was founded.
And
barns.
state's exhibit number 83, what's located in this photograph?
So this photograph, where we're standing taking the photograph, this is actually in front of the South Hog building, facing the entrance of the red shed, the red sliding door in the shed.
State's exhibit number 84.
This is positioned just a little bit south of the South Hog building, basically just showing another angle of the red shed Amy was found in.
State's exhibit number 85.
This is on the south side of the South Hog Barn, showing how the yard lays on the property. You got the red and white building is the shop on the property. The chute closest to you is the South Hog building. And then where you see the subject standing up on the top, kind of right of the picture, that's the North Hog building. The little grain feeders are in between the hog barns.
State's exhibit number 86.
This is a picture in front of the South Hog building, basically displaying the grain bins, the fuel barrels, and then the driveway that leads out to the road.
And what is that to the right?
The red shed that Amy was found in.
State's exhibit number 87.
This is a little bit closer view of the front entrance to the red shed. This is the only entrance to the red shed, and you can see how the door is positioned, open, 2.5 feet. That's about where it was.
Is that where how the door was positioned on November 10th, 2018?
Yes.
As well as November 16th, 2018, when these photographs were taken?
Yes.
And the state's exhibit number 88, is this a close-up of that same photograph?
Yes.
State's exhibit number 89.
This is the south side of the red shed. We're facing north, and this is photographs of the south side of the red shed that Amy was found in.
State's exhibit number 90.
This is a picture of the front sliding door of the red shed that faces to the east. This is the entrance. This is how you enter the building.
And state's exhibit number 91. What is in this photograph?
So this is a picture of the sliding door, about how it was open.
And is that how you entered?
Yes, right through that opening.
And state's exhibit number 92.
So this is an angle. That's the opening to the red shed. And this is a photograph that displays immediate to your left as you would turn and walk left into the building.
State's exhibit number 93.
Same angle, just a little bit better picture. How you can see when you enter the red shed that Amy was found in, you can see the chemical totes to the right and the red door on your left. That's going to be your space that you had to walk down.
State's exhibit number 94. What's located in this photograph?
So we took a tape measure and we measured the distance from the chemical totes to the door just to show the width of the walkway that Amy was found in. It measures around 30 inches.
State's exhibit number 95.
Again, this is another measurement of the front sliding door to the chemical totes on the first path of the walkway that Amy was found.
And state's exhibit number 96.
So from this position, you're in the building, you came into the opening, you've taken a left, and now you're staring down the first walkway, okay? This is immediately to the bottom, right kind of where the door splits. That's the positioning the area Amy was found. And then when you get to the end, you're gonna see that circle object. That's where the corner turns to go to the back of the sheds. So that's your intersection.
And if you go to the end of that area where you indicated the circle is and you turn right, what is located down there?
That's where the dog carrier or the carrier was located.
State's exhibit number 97. What's located in this photograph?
Same angle, just a little higher, just to show the chemical totes and the sliding door.
State's exhibit number 98.
So this is immediately when you get to the intersection, before you turn right.
There is no
State's
way
exhibit
this
number
is
99.
OSHA safe.
So this is just another picture at the intersection where we took a picture just a little bit more to the right as you turn.
And state's exhibit number 100.
This photograph displays as you make the complete turn and you're facing straight to the west, looking down the shed where the dog carrier was. That's what that shows.
Would it be fair to say that the person taking this picture would have kind of been at that intersection?
They're actually where the dog carrier is, I believe, in this photo, taking a photo towards that intersection, I think.
State's exhibit number 101. Another photograph, I think. of the
Yeah,
area.
same angle. Yep.
And state's exhibit number 102. What is this a photograph of?
Same angle. Same angle. You're at the. Actually, state's exhibit 101. That's from the entrance looking straight back. This photograph is where you're at the dog carrier looking straight at the sliding door. That's this alley.
And in both 101 and 102, it's the passageway after you turned right where Amy's body was located.
Right,
It's just
yes.
different angles.
Yes.
And state's exhibit 103. What is this a photograph of?
This just shows the hay racks that were on the one side of the walkway.
And state's exhibit 104.
Same angle, just showing the augers and then the other side of the walkway, not the side where the hay racks are. This is the other side. So both sides of the walkway.
Betty, all you got to do is put the @ sign
Deputy,
and
earlier, I
just
think we only
type
talked
the
about six
name
exhibits going to 103.
like it
You
is
indicated
in
that 104
chat,
is also a picture of the red shed.
and then
Yes.
just
And was
hit,
that also
and
a
then
picture that
type
was
whatever
taken
it
on
is that
November
you want
16th,
to
2018, the day that
tell them, and then
the
just hit
I'm sorry, the
enter,
search warrants were
and
executed
it'll
at the Mullis
tag
farm.
them.
Yes.
And is this a true and accurate depiction of that area located inside the red shed?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would ask that this State's Exhibit 104 be admitted into evidence.
Any objection? 104 is admitted.
Now, Deputy, you said you went on November 16th, 2018 to execute search warrants at the Mullis residence.
Yes.
What was the purpose, or what was the search warrant for on those days, on that day?
The search warrant were for all electronics at the residence.
Was it also to conduct a search of the home?
Yes, the search of the home and to gather more photographs.
And who was present when you went to go execute that search warrant?
It was myself, a few deputies from our office, and then Special Agent John Turbot.
Was the defendant or anybody from his family present as well?
Yes.
And who was present?
Todd Mullis, Todd Mullis' sister, and Todd Mullis' attorney, Bob Stapers.
What, if anything, did you observe while you were conducting that search warrant?
So while conducting the search warrant, doing the search in the residence for electronics, we located several Kindles. We located an iPad.
Oh,
that
I
said
hope
was his
you win,
iPad.
Molson
We
man.
located 2
Hope you
laptop
win
computers,
big.
and then we also seized a few cell phones. While doing a search in the residence, I also took note that it was evident that Todd Mullis is an avid hunter, and he likes to collect firearms and ammunition. Also, with doing the search in exterior buildings, there's obviously farm equipment. I've come to learn that Todd Mullis owned a Gleaner combine. I also located a camera system on the south hog barn. There's 2 cameras positioned in the peak of that hog barn. And the DVR recording system for them cameras were located in the office in the shop. That'd be the red and white shed to the north. And I also noticed that I also took note of those camera angles while I was there. One camera, we'll call them camera 1, camera 2. The one camera displayed the center of the yard. So it'd be from like where the house, the north hog barn, and the shop is, that angle. And the second camera was positioned
I
towards
just had a Wayne's World
and that system
reference. I
was
can't
also
let
seized
it
on that
go.
day, the DVR recording unit for that system.
Now, Deputy, let's go back first. You indicated that all the devices were recovered from the
Camera 1,
residence.
camera
Yes.
Can
2,
you give a
camera
summary
1,
of what types of
camera
devices were
2.
recovered?
Kindles, Todd Mullis' cell phone, Amy Mullis' cell phone, an Apple iPad, and 2 laptops.
And when you say an iPad, where did you specifically get that iPad from?
Todd said that he had it in his tractor, and so Mike Mullis had brought that to the farm for us, and that's when we
Did you have a conversation with Todd Mullis about where his iPad was located?
Yes.
And that's when he indicated to you that it was in his tractor?
Yes.
Did you then ask him if there's some way that you could see that iPad?
Yes, he said he would have his brother Mike bring it up to the house.
Did Mike Mullis actually bring the iPad there then?
Yes.
And did he give it to Todd or give it to you?
He gave it to Todd, and Todd gave it to me.
And at that point, did you have a conversation with Todd?
Yes, I did, because when I received the iPad, when we received the iPad, it had a passcode on it. So you need to physically enter in a passcode. It was a 4-digit PIN number. So I had asked Todd if he would give me that passcode so I could get into the unit when I obtained a search warrant to search it.
Did Todd initially give you the passcode?
No, he was very hesitant to give me that passcode.
Did he then say anything to anyone else?
He turned to his attorney and his attorney.
You got me.
Did Todd then give you the passcode?
Yes.
Did you then seize that iPad and collect it for evidence?
Yes, I did.
You indicated a moment ago that you were able to determine that there was 2 cameras at the Mullis farm.
Yes.
And I believe you called them camera 1 and camera 2.
Yes,
Did you also ask Todd about those devices?
I did.
And then where did you go to retrieve those devices?
We went to the shop, the red and white building, the shop to the north, and in the back right corner of the shop, there's an office. So Todd and I went into the office, and there was a computer screen that displayed the video, and then there's also a DVR recording unit that is the box that records all of your video and stores it. And that's what I had seized.
And you seized the DVR system for both of those cameras?
There's one DVR system. Both cameras are linked to that DVR.
And was that DVR system analyzed
Yes.
after another search warrant?
Yes.
And was there an analysis conducted on those on that DVR system?
Yes.
And go ahead.
I assisted with analyzing the DVR system from the video cameras. So what we had found is that we had camera 1, camera 2. I'm not sure which one was which, but I know that the video camera that was displaying at the angle towards the red shed, we weren't able to find any video for that camera. We couldn't determine if the video was deleted or if the system just never recorded. The other camera system that displayed the yard, like the North Hog building, the shop, and over towards the house, the general yard, that one did have video. So it recorded from September 11th, 2018 to October 29th, 2018. And then there was no recordings from October 29th, 2018 until the day after the homicide, November 11th. So the video picks back up November 11th, the day after the homicide, and then records to November 15th, 2018. And then we seized the unit on the 16th the next day. So that window from the 10th to October 29th, there's no recording. So we weren't able to determine if it recorded or if the data was deleted.
Now, Deputy, throughout your investigation, were you able to determine the time or a time frame for Amy Mullis's death?
Yes.
And how were you able to determine that?
I issued a search warrant for Gmail, for Amy Mullis's Gmail. And her last conversation, November 10th, was with Jerry Frazier. The last message was at 10:14 in the morning,
And what time was the 911 call that came out?
12:01. So between 10:14 and 12:01, that was our time frame for the homicide.
Now, just briefly describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you indicated that you conducted or executed approximately 19 search warrants. And I apologize if you've already said this, but what were those other search warrants for as well?
So I issued a search warrant for Todd Mullis's Gmail. I issued a warrants to Google associated with Todd Mullis's Gmail account. I issued search warrants to Amy Mullis's Snapchat, Amy Mullis's email. I issued warrants for Amy Mullis's cell phone records through US Cellular. I issued warrants for the phone itself, the data contained on the device for both Todd and Amy and Tristan's cell phone. I issued search warrants through US Cellular for Todd and Tristan and Amy's, all the information that was stored at US Cellular. I issued warrants for searching the computer and its content. I issued warrants for the Kindles to search the content that was contained on those machines, and then also search warrants for the DVR system.
Now, Deputy, we know that this crime occurred on November 10th, 2018. Do you recall when was the defendant arrested for this offense?
Approximately 3.5 months after the incident.
And throughout that 3.5 month investigation, did you have any other suspects or persons of interest?
Just Jerry Frazier,
And why was Jerry Frazier a person of interest?
because we had identified Jerry Frazier as having an intimate relationship with Amy Mullis.
Were you able to rule out Jerry Frazier as a suspect?
Yes, we were.
And how were you able to do that?
So how we ruled out Jerry Frazier as a suspect, we did search warrants on Jerry Frazier's emails and phone records, and we were able to obtain tower and GPS information for cell phone. So what we did is we took that information and we mapped it, and we mapped Jerry around that. Jerry lives in Anamosa. So we mapped Jerry in and around Anamosa the day of the homicide from about 10:40 in the morning to almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon to indicate that Jerry was in and around Anamosa during the time frame of the homicide.
And how far is Anamosa from the Mullis farm?
About 45-minute drive. We also conducted interviews with Jerry Frazier's wife and Jerry Frazier's son.
And was Jerry Frazier's wife ever a suspect or a person of interest?
No.
And why not?
Special Agent John Turba had interviewed her and had come to that conclusion.
Now, Deputy, you indicated that from the iPad that was seized that Todd gave you on November 16th, 2018, were you able to determine if there was a Gmail account linked to that iPad?
Yes, there was.
And what was that Gmail account?
Todd Mullis76@gmail.com.
After you seized that iPad, did you do an additional search warrant for it?
Yes, I did.
And what was that search warrant for?
So I did a search warrant to physically examine the iPad, to look into the iPad for the contents. And then I also did a search warrant to so my findings of that, we'll start with that search warrant. My findings when I physically examined the iPad, iPads have Google. Google's a search engine. So if anybody has used Google before, they know they can pull up Google, and where you're going to type in your search, you can hit it and see your search history, right? So that search history only saves so many searches, and then they fall off. So I noticed on that search, when I hit that search bar to see the history that's on the device, I seen organs of the body was searched.
And when was that searched?
That was 4 days prior to the homicide.
And that was your observation when you conducted a physical search of that iPad?
Correct, yes.
Did you then execute a further search warrant to Google?
Yes.
And was that for the specific account of toddmullis76@gmail.com?
Yes.
And how do you go about executing that search warrant?
So with all the electronics that I seized at the residence, no other device had that Gmail associated with it. So Todd Mullis's Gmail was set up on the iPad, just like most Gmails are. That when you do a search warrant through Google, that Gmail is linked to that iPad. So Google has a service and it's a Gmail, if that makes sense. They're connected. So it tracks your search history. So I did a search warrant through Google associated with Todd Mullis's Gmail account. And that gave me the search history back for that iPad itself. So when I received the searches back, I had received searches from 2017 to the present date.
And when you received those results, approximately how many pages did that entail?
Over 700.
And did you, as part of your investigation, go through those Google searches to see if there was any searches that you believed were relevant to this investigation?
Yes, I did.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Deputy, I just handed you States Exhibit 112 as well as States Group Exhibit 105. First, let's talk about States Exhibit 112. What is that?
So this is a standard document we receive back. When I submit search warrants to Google, it's an online portal for law enforcement. When I receive the information back, they send an authentication letter with the records.
And is that what's known as a certificate of authenticity?
Yes.
And indicates that those are a true and accurate search of the specific account of toddmullis76@gmail.com.
Yes.
And can you please look at States Exhibit 105? And what is 105?
This is a the search histories that we had obtained.
Is that all 700 pages?
No,
How many pages is it?
11.
And are those 11 of the pages that you received back from Google for the specific account for that search warrant that you just talked about?
Yes, it is.
And are those true and accurate copies of the of 11 of those 700 pages that you received from Google regarding this account?
Yes, they are.
Your Honor, at this time, I would ask that both states exhibit 112 and 105 be admitted into evidence.
Okay, so after he goes through the Google search, then we'll just take a little break and discuss, because there's a lot to discuss. You guys have raised some excellent points that I was thinking as well. I have to agree with them.
Any objection? 105 and 112 are both admitted.
And Your Honor, I would ask permission to publish to the jury.
Yes, granted.
Deputy, I'm going to show you, this is State's Exhibit 105. Because we're not showing all 700 pages, is this the beginning of those 700 pages and the end of those 700 pages?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And just so that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are clear on these Googles, or what's at the top of these searches? What is listed?
Oh, that's with a website that was searched.
And at the top, does it indicate that this is the Google account of Todd Mullis 76 at gmail.com?
Yes.
And just so that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are clear, can you describe let's just go to line 7, which is the first search that we see, just so that we can, if you can explain what appears on each line of these different searches.
It's going to be the date that it was searched, the time that it was searched, and then it's going to give the website that was either visited or specifically searched. And if it was specifically searched, it's going to show you the characters that were actually physically entered in for the search.
So would it be fair to say that at the beginning of each one, or almost all of them, it either says visited or searched?
Yes.
Now, throughout your investigation, as you indicated, you were able to analyze and go through all of these records, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to direct your attention, I believe it's to the last page in your group exhibit, going back to December 25th, 2017, where there are some specific searches that you believed were relevant to this investigation.
Yes.
And what was the first search that you believed was relevant? What date and time?
So the first search was December 25th, 2017. Now the time on these is military time. So this search displays 3:04 in the morning. The search was search for was killing more accepted centuries ago. And then it'll show you at the bottom, this is specifically searched. So the keys that were entered is right at the bottom. Was plus killing more accepted centuries ago. That's how it was typed into the search.
Now, just so we're clear, Deputy, I see there's a pop out of the line. Is that correct? On the screen in the PowerPoint presentation.
Yes, that's how we made the PowerPoint.
And is this line 2869 is what's popped out right now showing the jury an exact replication of that full line?
Yes.
And is that so the same for this entire presentation?
Yes.
So just to be clear, when you look at the end of this search and it says,
Hey,
plus,
Barbara, I
killing
didn't
plus,
see you sneak
more
in.
plus
Welcome.
distance, centuries plus ago. The actual words in between the pluses is what is actually searched.
Yes.
Now, was there another search on that same date on December 25th, 2017 that was searched?
Yes.
And what time was that?
Yeah, I had to speed these people up a little bit because otherwise it's just too slow.
So this is also at 3:04 in the morning. The search was was killing more accepted centuries ago. And then you can see down at the bottom how it was typed into the search bar. Sorry, that's fine.
I'll just go to the next one. And if you go up, if we're starting later in time and going.
Hey, BR, the
earlier in
star.
time, and this brings
No,
us
most
to
people
around the
think
period of
that
January 5th,
he's
2018,
not
is that correct?
guilty.
Yes.
And on this page, what searches did you feel were relevant to this investigation?
So on January 5th, 2018, at 2:53.
I don't want mine either, Molson man.
There's a specific search for characteristics of cheating women. So again, at the bottom, you can see what characters were typed in. Characteristics plus cheating women, a woman.
Now, and Deputy, you're familiar with Google?
Yes.
And it is a search engine, correct?
Yes.
And generally, when you go to the search engine, somebody can type in a search.
Yes.
And after you type in a search, what appears?
You'll have selections that'll appear, like different sites you can choose from that.
I don't
I'll go to the
think
next one
anything
here.
is actually private,
On that same
Betty.
date, was there another, was there a site that was visited that you felt was relevant to this investigation?
Yes. So after that, there's another search, same date, January 5th, 2018 at 2:54 in the morning. This is a visited site. So the visited site was truthaboutdeception.com, cheating and infidelity, stats about infidelity, cheating-wife. And then you can see at the bottom, it's that's how it was typed in.
Well, and this is a visited site, correct?
Yes.
Just so that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are clear, the way that Google works is you put in, somebody has to type in an actual search.
Correct.
And then after that, different websites or different links pop up.
Yes, and you can visit those links.
So anytime these records say visited, that means that somebody would have clicked on those sites to look at them.
Correct.
And we'll go to the next one here. And this was at 3:05 a.m., is that correct?
Yes.
And what was this visited site?
Psychologytoday.com, blog, love and sex in the digital age, women who cheat relationships.
And after that, at the time of 3:11 and 53 seconds on that same date, was there another visited site?
Yes. So it was 6 traits almost every cheating woman has.
Let's ask NK Molson
The
man.
next line here at 3:15 and 44 seconds on that same date, what was the visited site at that time?
So it's love, sex, signs, women cheating, cheat, intelligent, clever, educated.
After that, at 3:17 and 6 seconds on that same date, what was the visited site?
16 facts about cheating women.
And at 3:17 and 35 on that same date, what was visited?
16 facts about cheating women.
At 3:18:40, what was visited? Or I'm sorry, what was searched?
Yeah. So on January 5th, 2018, at 3:18, it was search for what did ancient cultures do to infidelity?
And after that, was there another search?
Yeah. Search for did ancient cultures kill adulterers?
And that was at what time?
3:20 in the morning.
And at 3:20 and
They
19
can get it from their phone carrier.
seconds, what was visited?
So right after that, a site was
Oh, I
visited.
pushed mute too
adultery.
fast. Shamita, I think they can get it from your phone carrier,
I'm gonna
babe.
go
I
now
don't think they
jump a
care
little bit,
about your
to
SIM card.
January 8th, 2018, were there some additional searches that you believed were relevant to the investigation?
Yes.
And
So on this date, January 8th, 2018, at 2:08 in the morning, there was what was searched was search for thrill of the kill.
that was actually typed in.
Correct. Yes.
And after that, on that same date, at what time was there another search?
2:23 in the morning, search for thrill of the hunt.
I'm fixing to Google those and see what comes up.
And
Hold on.
what is this search of?
So this is going to be on January 8th as well, at 2:26 in the morning. Search for famous quote, no thrill like that of hunting man.
And is this another search on that same date?
Yep, same day, January 8th, 2018, at 2:31 in the morning. Search
It's
for
a
once you
movie.
hunt man, you will always feel the thirst. And at the bottom, you can see how those characters were typed in.
I think it is too. It's a movie
And on that same date, was this
from
another relevant search?
2006.
And what was, I'm sorry, visited site, what was visited?
Yes, January 2018, 2:50 a.m. visited. Once you hunt man, you always feel the
I
thirst.
think there's 2.
Now, officer, this is, when we
What?
go back and look at like the page of
I
the
think there's
searches,
2
there are
movies.
some that are not highlighted. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
And can you just briefly
Yeah, I think the other one is a movie too. So again, that proves nothing.
talk about the ones before and after the searched ones?
Yeah, so I highlighted the ones we're displaying. The search history before and after, I took note that on the same day, within that time frame of them searches, you're going to see a lot of searches related to guns, hunting, gleaner combines, ag talk, and other searches related to farming.
And even though we're not highlighting all of those searches and we don't want to go over all of them because of timing, those are also listed in the same way as the ones we're highlighting.
Yes,
They indicate times and dates,
times, dates.
and they also indicate visited or search sites.
Yes.
Now I'm going to direct your attention up here to January 21st, 2018. What is this search, the date and time, and what is the search?
So January 21st, 2018 at 3:26 in the morning, search for how to make sure your kids are yours.
And you see what is actually typed in down there?
At the bottom, yes.
And what is this search?
January 21st, 2018 at 3:27 in the morning, search for test to show if your biological father.
And again, the search after with the pluses indicates the actual words typed in.
Correct.
Was there a search at approximately 3:28 and 26 seconds?
Yes.
And what is this search of?
DNAtesting.com. What do my results mean?
I'm sorry, I misspoke. This is a visited site, correct?
Yes, this is a visit site.
And line 2598, what was this search for?
January 21st, 2018, 3:33 in the morning, search for how to test DNA at home.
And at 3:35 and 24 seconds, what was searched?
Search for how to do a DNA test without the father knowing.
And at 3:38 and 4 seconds on that same day, what was visited?
DNAtesting.com, discreetly doing a DNA test without consent possible.
And again, there's other searches above and beyond the highlighted ones, correct?
Yes.
And in this slide, if you look at the search directly below the highlighted ones at 3:16:54 on that same date, what is searched for?
Hunting bows.
It actually indicates search for Oneida Bose Phoenix, correct?
Yes.
Oneida, Oneida.
Yes.
And above the highlighted searches at 4 a.m. and 10 seconds on that same date, what is searched?
Search for longest distance of how bow and arrow.
I'm going to go to the next slide here. And on May 10th, 2018, was there a search at 1:15 a.m. and 1 second?
Yes.
And what was searched on the date?
So that was search for what happens to cheaters in history.
And you see there what was actually typed in.
Yes, at the bottom, you can see the characters that were typed in.
And at 1:15 and 34 on that same date of May 10th, 2018, was a site visited.
Yes.
And what site was that?
The making of a cheater.
At 1:39 and 22 seconds on May 10th, 2018, was there a visited site?
Yes.
And what site was that?
So it was once a cheater, always a cheater. Marriage therapist weigh in.
And that was a Huffington Post.
Yes.
On that same date of May 10th, 2018, at at 1:43 and 20, was there a search?
Yes.
And what was the search?
Search for what happened to cheating spouses in historic Aztec tribe.
At 1:43 and 32 seconds on that same date, was there a visited site after that?
Yes.
And what site was that?
Real History, www.com. World History, Ancient American Aztec History.
And at 1:57:20 on that same date, was there another visited site?
Yes.
And what was that?
www.aztechistory.com.
At 1:59 and 57 seconds on that same date, was there an additional search?
Yeah, so this was specifically search for killing unfaithful women. You can see at the bottom the specific characteristics that were typed into the search.
I don't think
And
the
at 2
Aztecs
a.m.
used
and
corn
49
rakes
seconds, was there a
though,
visited site after that?
so
Yes.
And what was that visited site?
So this was www.nytimes.com. Punishment is 18 months for killing cheating wife.
And at 2:02 and 24 seconds on that same date, was there a visited site after that?
Yes.
And what was that?
This one is www.baltimoreesun.com news. PH-ag murder trial opening.
At 2:05 and 43 seconds, was there an additional visited site on that same date?
Yes.
And what was the site visited?
Crimes of passion.
And at 2:13:36, was there a search conducted on that date?
Yes.
And what was the search for?
Search for human overpopulation solutions.
Now I'm going to direct your attention to the date of July 13th, 2018. On that date, at 10:56:14, was there a search?
Yes.
yeah, but
What
I
was that
feel like
search?
they didn't
Search
use.
for are some people less buoyant than
That's
others?
true.
And just seconds later,
That's
was
a
there
good point.
a
They
site
did
visited?
grow.
Yes.
And what
corn.
site was that?
That's www.scientificamerica.com article, muscle versus fat.
And about two and a half minutes later, is there an additional site visited?
Yes.
And what site visited is that?
So www.theregister.co.uk, the odd body swimming.
And about 3 minutes after that, was there another visited site?
Yes.
And what is that visited site?
www.relaxandswim.com, buoyancy, physics and buoyancy.
And on that same date, July 13th, 2018, at 11:06:10, was there another visited site after that?
Yes, www.swim-teach.com, why does my body sink?
Now, if you go, and now we go to the highlighted searches on July 21st, 2018. And was there a search on that date at
Yeah.
1:43 a.m. and 39 seconds?
Yes.
And what was that search for?
Search for checking content of
'Cause you
text
don't know how
messages
to
on
swim?
phone.
That's why your body sinks. I don't.
At 1:44 a.m. on that same date, was there a visited site?
Yes.
And what was that visited site?
Dr. Phone, Wondershare.com, get text message records from iOS.
At 1:47:10 on that same date, was there a visited site?
Yes.
And what was the visited site?
Forums, .att.com, data messaging features, internet. Can my husband read my deleted text messages online?
On that same date at 1:48:42, was there a visited site after that?
Yes.
And what was that?
www.livestrong.com, one parent transcript, kids text messages.
At 1:53:07 on that date, was there a visited site?
Yes.
And what was that site?
www.vorce.com, eager to check those texts.
And on that same date at 1:55:26, was there a visited website?
Yes.
And what was that website?
securetracks.com.
And do you know what securetracks.com is?
That link is 7
No.
miles long. I'm not fixing to click
Now,
that.
I'd like to direct your
Mm-mm.
attention to the searches on July 26, 2018 at 14:43:50, which can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that military time is in actual time?
So it's 2:43 in the afternoon.
Was there a search on that date?
Yes.
And what was searched?
Search for Jerry Frazier, Anamosa.
And after that,
Tristan
there a
was
visited site?
13,
Yes.
And what was that
Taylor
visited
was
site?
Jerry Frazier,
11,
Anamosa,
and
Iowa.
Wyatt was 9. Betty.
On that same date at 14:44, which would be 2:44, was there another search?
Yes.
And what was that search for?
Search for 22703 Fish House Road, Anamosa, Iowa, zip code 52205, which is Jerry Frazier's address.
Was there then a search on that same date at 2:48 p.m.?
Yes.
And what was the search? What was typed in?
Search for Christy Frazier.
And was there a visited site after that at 2:48:31?
Yes.
And what was the visited site?
Oh,
www.mylife.com, Christy Frazier.
Ready to call.
Yup.
On that same date at 2:49 and 42 seconds, was there a visited site?
Yes.
And what was that visited site?
Twitter.com, Fraser Christie.
On that date, was there an additional visited site at 2:50?
Yes.
And what was that site?
It's a visit site, Facebook.com, Christie, Starsberg Fraser.
And on July 26, 2018 at 16:40, which would be 4:40, correct?
Yes.
Was there a search completed? And what was the search for?
Search for Christie Fraser employment.
And at 4:40 and 51 seconds, was there an additional search?
Yes.
And what was that?
Search for Christie Fraser Anamosa, Iowa workplace.
At 4:41 and 2 seconds, was there a visited site after that?
Yes.
And what was that?
www.journaleureka.com obituary articles.
At 4:42 and 33 seconds, was there something visited on that same date?
Yes.
And what was that?
This is www.manta.com, Rogers Concrete. That's where Christie Fraser works.
At 4:47 and 22 seconds on that same date, was there an additional visited site?
Yes.
And what was that for?
www.manta.com, Rogers Concrete.
Now, on August 9th, 2018, was there a search at approximately, or at 5:38 and 25 seconds?
Yes.
And what was searched?
Search for what fraction of firearm incidents occur in the home.
And you see at the bottom there what was actually physically typed in.
Yes.
And when you look at the first highlighted search at the bottom, can you see what's below it
Yes.
and above it as well?
Yes. The search below it was searched dreamdirt.com, farmland prices in Iowa.
And that was the day before, correct?
Yes.
And then when you look at the one above it, that's the same day as the search we just talked about.
Yes.
And that was a few minutes after the search for what fraction of firearm incidents occur in the home.
Yes.
And what was that search at a few minutes later?
Search for example of elbow carry of firearm.
And on that same date, a few minutes later, at 5:46:30, was there a search completed?
Yes.
And what was the search for?
Search for degree, a zone of fire spans out in front of hunters.
Now, on August 9th, 2018, excuse me, at 7:40 and 36 seconds, was there a search?
Yes.
And what was the search for?
Search for how long you can survive without food.
And after that, at 7:41, was there a visited site?
Yes.
And what was that site?
How many days can you survive without water?
Was there a visited site at 7:41 on that same date?
Yes.
And what was that for?
How many days you cannot survive without water?
At 7:42 and 24 seconds on August 9th, 2018, was there a search completed?
Yes.
And what was that search for?
Search for how long you can survive without water.
And you can actually see what was actually typed there in the bottom?
Yes.
In between those pluses?
Yep. Yes.
On August 9th, 2018, was there a search at 7:44 and 48 seconds?
Yes.
What was actually searched?
Search for what lost in extreme cold, no fire, which is best way to survive.
At 7:45 and 40 seconds on August 9th, 2018, was there a search?
Yes.
And what was the search?
Search for heat stroke symptoms.
Was there a visited site on that same date at 7:46 p.m.?
Yes.
And what was that visited site?
Heat stroke symptoms and treatment.
On that same date at 7:46 and 8 seconds, what was the visited site?
Heat stroke symptoms and treatment.
At 7:46, was there an additional visited site?
Yes.
And what was that site?
Heat exhaustion.
At 7:47:34 on that same date, August 9th, 2018, was there a search?
Yes.
And what was the search for?
Search for proper way to treat heat stroke.
Was there a visited
The
site
hospital?
after that on the same date at 7:47 and 39 seconds?
Yes.
And what was that?
www.huntered.com, Indiana, study guide, heat exhaustion and heat stroke.
Was there a search completed at 7:49 and 2 seconds on that same date?
Yes.
And what was the search?
Search for what is the best way to stop severe bleeding, hunter safety.
On that same date at 7:49 and 23 seconds, what was the visited site?
Hunters Ed Week, 2 flashcards.
On that same date at 7:50 and 17 seconds, what was searched?
Search for correct treatment for 2nd and 3rd degree burns.
Was there a visited site after that at 7:50 and 45 seconds?
Yes.
What was the visited site?
Burns, first aid burns.
Was there a search completed on that same date at 7:53 and 27 seconds?
Yes.
What was searched?
Search for what to do with large open chest wound.
On that same date at 7:54:12, was there a visited site?
Yes.
What was the visited site?
www.gems.com, articles, print, volume 38, issues-8, patient care, treating sucking chest wounds and other.
And was
Yeah,
there a
I've
search
never
completed
looked up
on that
stuff
same
like
date at
this. This might
7:55
be a
and
little
54
extra even
seconds?
for
Yes.
me.
And what was that search for?
Search for skin, cold, clammy, pale, pulse rapid, shallow breathing.
And again, those were the words that were actually typed in.
Yes.
On November 6, 2018, were there some searches that were just 4 days prior to Amy's murder?
Yes.
On November 6, 2018, was there a search completed at 1:45:57?
Yes.
And what was actually typed in and searched?
So that's 1:45 in the morning. Search for organs in the body.
Now, a moment ago, you talked about physically looking in this iPad, correct?
Yes.
And you indicated that when you went to Google and you pressed the search area of Google, drop-down menu came up.
Yes.
And you saw some of the prior history on that iPad.
Yes.
And is this the search that you indicated to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury that you saw organs of the body?
Yes.
And it was from that same date.
Yes.
After that search, was there a visited site at 1:47 a.m. on November 6, 2018?
Yes.
And what was that visited site?
Organ anatomy.
Was there a visited site after that at 1:48 a.m. on that same date?
Yes.
And what was that visited site?
Body organs, maps, and diagrams.
Deputy, is the Mullis farm located in Delaware County?
Yes.
Now, at some point, you are aware, and you, I believe, saw the rake that was recovered in this incident.
Yes.
Did you ever perform any type of DNA on that rake?
No.
Why not?
I actually inquired the DCI lab. That's the main lab that we use to test evidence. I inquired about touch DNA evidence. They had advised me that touch DNA evidence they no longer do because of its inconsistencies, and also about latent fingerprints. A type of instrument like that with the texture, there's obtaining latent fingerprints off of a device like that is not possible.
Additionally, did throughout your 3.5 month investigation, excuse me, was Todd Mullis your main suspect?
Yes.
And did you have information that Todd had touched the rake?
Yes, he told us that.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
We'll just hang on for just a quick second before we get into the cross-examination. Fellow jurors.
Okay, so this is where I run into some issues with these Google searches.
Okay.
Because, and not because of the weird, like, Aztec, weird shit, because who knows what somebody's watching on TV and they just decide to Google.
Correct.
But neither here nor there. I have issues with the DNA parts. Because some of the searches sound like it would be her searching for the DNA.
Could you please be not in my head? It's very cluttered up there, Teresa. And
I know, there's no room for me.
much like that red barn, there's just the doorway is not wide and it's very, very little walk space. Probably less than 30 inches. It's very dangerous up there.
Very dangerous.
Very.
So I don't know. I want to know more about, like, the sleeping schedule in the house. Obviously, they're farmers. Most of these searches are done in the middle of the night. So if, who's awake? Is he awake and out farming? Is she awake? I don't know. Like, there's more to that. And I have an issue with they tie the searches back to his Gmail. Well, yeah, who goes on somebody else's device and changes over their Gmail before they do a Google search? Like, let me make sure that all my Google searches show up under my Gmail on your device.
I never do that. Although I will say this. So in our house, I have a laptop. My husband has a laptop. My son has a computer. My daughter has a laptop, and all of us have phones. I have a tablet, and my husband has a tablet. I can only think of maybe 2 or 3 times that I've ever used his phone or his tablet. And each one of those times is because I was too lazy to log in to the Prime account on my phone with his information. It was just easier for me. I'm just telling you, that's true. Just laziness. So I just went in there and used his phone. What gets me were the searches of Christy. Because those searches don't sound like a man.
They sound like a woman.
Everything that was searched about her is something that, let's be honest, girls, ladies in the audience, please raise your hands. How many of you have stalked somebody's Facebook page? Me. Once
Well,
you got to the Facebook page and then you started clicking around and found relatives and maybe found an obituary, me. That's a woman's search.
well,
I
also,
think.
I was trying to pay attention to this, but I couldn't. I was not paying attention to the dates. The dates of the searches for Jerry's wife, are they
Mhm.
not after the fact that he's already talked to her? Because I
They
thought that they had their conversations in July.
so I think that the Facebook pages or all the searching for her was like at the very end of July, like July 26th.
Oh, was it? Okay, because I was thinking it was
Mhm.
August.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I think it was July, and it was all done at one time. And it is okay. It is important the time because if his contention is that he looked that up for his daughter at 1 o'clock in the morning, you were working on a school project with your kid.
Well, I don't want to answer that because I kind of feel like you're going to judge me now.
I mean, it's possible. I can't see that your kid being up at 1 o'clock in the morning for a
Oh,
school
man.
project.
No, no, the little one gets all screwed up on his sleeping times if he tries to sneak in a late nap. But other than that,
Mhm. Yeah, but not like a 9-year-old.
no.
Or she was 11. So
Yeah, she was
no,
11.
that's the.
But is he prepping for it? I mean, because shoot, like I'm up at 1. If I'm going to work on a project with them the next day, am I prepping for it? I don't know.
I'm trying to think what I would have done. It's been so long since I've had to help on a school project. Like my kiddos are grown, and the only thing that my one teenager ever asks me to do is the drawing because I'm good at that. Mom,
Yeah,
can you draw?
I'm 11 and 13, and I don't do any of their school stuff. Like,
She's only ever asked me to draw the pictures. Mom, this is what I want it to look like. Make it happen. Oh, well, sure. Let me get the wand.
No, I just get the can you look at this and make sure it's okay, or can you read this and make sure it sounds okay? But yeah, they do it all themselves. So
Yeah, so I don't. That's an interesting. But those searches seem, well, like no, it's just too obvious. And looking what the Aztecs did. I have some Aztec and Mayan in my DNA because I'm Mexican. So I have that, but I I've never actually looked up the Aztecs or the Mayans. Oh, except for the calendar. I did look up the Mayan calendar one year. I did do that. But I didn't look up what I think all ancient civilizations have been there. The punishment and the penalty for adultery has always been capital punishment back in the day. That's just what they did. So I feel like they're almost they sound staged and ridiculous.
well, I mean, how many times have you ever watched a show and then you end up just Googling a bunch of stuff to see like how accurate the movie is, or
I have done that. I have done that. I
you know,
have done.
I do that. Like I do that a lot, or like just anything random. Like so, the guy likes history because he's searching just historical sites to begin with, or she is, whomever's doing these searches, is searching about just history, in general. So maybe he watches the History Channel and wants to know if shit's legit. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how that ties into I'm going to kill my wife in a year. That's a lot of premeditation.
Right. And then now I will say the hunting accidents, those don't look so great.
I have
Searching that.
a theory on those.
However, there are tons of like history, like on the History Channel, and then there's like they even have now like the American History Channel, Discovery, all those channels, the educational channels. They do have programs about hunting and, weird accidents and stuff like that. So it's possible to look that up to understand what an episode was talking about. I mean, I can see that that would be possible, but I can also see how that would look to a jury. Hey, Anaphylaxis. Hey, Gwenty. Yeah. And the other thing is, okay, so I can't remember who made this comment, but it was about the wife, Christy, and how the officer that's on the stand testified that she was ruled out by another officer. That's all he can say. They are going to, I recognize the name because I was looking at the channel, and his testimony is tomorrow, and I'm sure he'll be more able to explain exactly how he cleared Christy. But also, it's important to keep in mind that tracing a cell phone doesn't trace a human, it traces the phone.
Uh-huh.
You could have your phone, in theory, at your house open to, I don't know, Facebook, YouTube, especially if you have it on autoplay, you'd be covered for hours.
Well, apparently, according to Chazaldaz's attorneys, your phone can just go places without you.
Ooh.
Well, all lies don't matter, though. Only some lies. All the lies is not. Okay, so what's your theory about the hunting searches?
The one said Hunter's Ed, and that was in the summer. So I was looking up Hunter's Ed, and it is a hunting course in Iowa. And if you have to be over 11,
Ooh.
and you have to must be 11 years old to take this. It's an online course. So basically, it's for your hunting license.
When's it offered?
Yeah.
I think it's just all the time.
Oh, okay. When's hunting season?
Well, there's different, depends on what you're hunting.
What can you hunt in the okay, so if you're doing that search, when was that search done? What?
July.
So,
and then some of them, so there is a study guide link to try study guide for the hunting education, and there is ones in there about like, what do you do if you fall in the ice, and what do you do, like how do you stop bleeding?
okay.
Stuff
So
like
that
that.
That's a justifiable search. That's a reasonable search.
Yeah, and there was one about like out in the winter with no fire or something like that. Is one of the like survival skills and shit that it was talking about on here. So that's what I think those are from. And if he's looking up stuff like that, I don't know, the Aztec stuff could be as simple as looking up schoolwork or looking up something that they saw online.
I'm telling you right now, I've been through school. Never have I ever been asked what Aztecs do to punish cheating wives. That I'll say. However,
no, but he could have been learning about Aztecs.
I know he could have been yeah, and then just got curious. Although it is interesting, that's, I don't know, that's a weird.
It's also a search from December of 2017.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like an adult search. It sounds like a kid search. It doesn't. I don't know.
Well, if he's missing school, and I don't know.
And let's think about this. So
queen of homework.
So five years before 2018 would have been 2013, and he would have been 8. So I don't think that he would have waited 3 years to search, or 4 years to search about cheating from an incident he remembered when he was 8 years old. I mean, it could be just
he's wondering if the youngest brother is the dad's.
But why would a husband?
I don't think they were Todd. I don't think he was searching that.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that,
like 16 facts about a cheater woman. Like, that's not a grown man search. That's either a woman search or the kid search, because we all know, like, he knew stuff that he probably
Yeah.
shouldn't have known.
Yeah, but the DNA search, who, when a
The
man
way
is looking something up, he usually is looking up something about a wife.
What it says like I can't remember exactly how it was worded, but I remember the first time I watched this it got me right away because it was something about like how do I know if my child is my husband's or something like that.
Correct, not mine.
Yeah, it was a weird terminology to type in. Like I was like, that doesn't seem like why would you search that? And I remember talking to my husband about it and being like, would you search like how to tell if my child is and I don't remember exactly the words now because
It was husband. How to tell if the husband is the father or something to that effect. It's weird.
yeah, and then also, how to get a DNA test where nobody knows or whatever, like in secret. Todd's his dad. He could take him and have a DNA test. It doesn't need to be in secret. He could DNA test him anytime he wants to.
Right, but if you're Todd and you're wanting the DNA test, why are you trying to do it secret on yourself? You're looking up the damn test. It ain't gonna be a secret
Right. That's what I'm like. That doesn't make any sense to me.
unless he were gonna try to somehow or another get Jerry's.
But it wouldn't have been Jerry's. It would have been the old dudes, the
Oh,
first
that's
guy.
right. Yeah. Or that's who I meant. Try to secretly get the previous Sanchos.
But he probably wouldn't need that. And he just wants to know if the kid's his. So
Correct.
either the kid's his or isn't. It still does. The whole secret thing kind of threw me. I'm like, that's somebody else trying to get his DNA
Yes,
to
without
see if
him
it's the
knowing.
kid without him knowing. Yes.
Exactly, because to search husband, if you're the husband, you're searching in the third person, which is just weird on its face. Now, I will admit to occasionally referring to myself in the third person as a joke. But let me tell you, my Google searches, I don't refer to myself as in the third person. But all of those Facebook, let me hold on a second. I'll rewind a little bit and see if I can figure out. Let me look.
And I don't remember when Todd testifies how deep they go into these searches. I don't remember that. Maybe Momo does, but
Okay, yeah, I was right. So when he searched for, or when the search for Christy Frazier was done, it was done on July 26th, 2018 at 4:40:51.
Oh, well, then that's her, because Todd didn't know yet.
when does he find out? So he contacts them in July. I just don't remember the date.
Oh, it is July? Okay,
See, I
sorry.
thought he
it was
contacted.
like
No, he
September or
contacts
like
them.
right before.
No, it's in
Gotcha.
July that he contacts them. I just don't remember when. I'd have to go back and look at Jerry.
Okay,
listen to
Momo
Jerry
says
first.
they're going to get into it with him. But you wouldn't need to do all those Google searches to get her phone number. And besides that, her husband was employed by the farm, which means that his contact information would be in the office. No Google's required.
Well,
So-
unless it's his cell, but yeah.
Yeah, but why would you need to? How is Facebook going to get you in contact with anybody? You can't look somebody's phone number up on Facebook unless they're your
That
friend.
seems like a man thing to do, though. Let me check her up on Facebook.
That seems like a chick thing to do, not a man. I think it was Amy looking up Christy.
Yeah, and why would he be looking up her workplace?
Exactly.
Did he not go to the workplace, or did he just call?
No, he just called
No,
her.
he just called her. All of her husband is employed by the farm, so all of his employee records are there, which would include her. She's probably his emergency contact. Boom, there's the phone number.
Yeah, or that's a house number and he just calls and talks to her. I don't know. Like, we don't know any of that. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's still weird. I just don't see this. this guy is going to go through and just search this woman's workplace, and I don't know. It just seems weird to me. And why doesn't he do it on his phone? Why does he do everything on the iPad?
Right. And let me just state for the record, I don't think that a tractor is a good place for an iPad.
He has a flip phone, Momo? Well, maybe that's why he's not doing searches on his phone.
Can you even imagine doing a Facebook search on a flip phone?
No.
We didn't even have Facebook in flip phone time.
No, we didn't. But I mean, I
It was just fun being able to text pictures to each other.
right. I mean, I suppose close reviews, you do make a good point there. I mean, there are certain searches where that would make sense, but not secretly testing your husband for DNA if you're the husband. Why would you secretly DNA test yourself? I think that you doing it yourself would eliminate the element of surprise or unbeknownst to yourself. How do you do something to yourself unbeknownst to yourself? Like a DNA test.
Yeah.
I think you're going to notice yourself shoving a Q-tip in your mouth and swabbing it around your cheek. I think you got to do it like 10 or 11 times.
Yeah, so then my other thought is, okay, is he trying to keep it a secret from the kid? And the kid's 9, probably closer to, I mean, he's 9 at the time that all this happened. So, end of 8, beginning of 9, when he's searching these, is he trying to keep it a secret from him? But then still, like, wouldn't it be like, how do I tell if my kid is mine? How do I test my kid in?
Yes.
Like, how do I, you know what I mean? Like, still the search doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Mo, what doesn't have Wi-Fi?
His flip phone.
His phone.
What? in 2018? That's crazy. But I mean, okay.
So
But if you're in
now
the
you
field,
think
you're
this
probably
guy
not
who
going
has
to have good Wi-Fi signal.
this guy who has a flip phone, and they testify that he creates his Gmail account from his iPad because he needs it for his iPad apparently. Then, so
Which
it's
is also weird.
So I'm just trying to figure out, like, so this guy's just sitting around in the middle of the night just Googling shit all the time?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Coolest Reviews. Did I miss a comment? I'm sorry. That's what you're saying? Okay. All right. Sorry. My bad. Coolest Reviews busted a whole caps lock on me.
Yeah, I did.
You're in trouble now.
And
That was my point, Jen. Don't
yeah,
try to steal my ideas.
I'm sorry. and 3 exclamation points. Coolest Reviews ain't playing with you, Jen.
You just referred to yourself in the third person.
I did. I'm fancy. It's just, but this is the other thing. I understand that you can use Google on an Apple product, but why wouldn't you use the cloud? It comes with it, does it not? I don't know how the Apples works. I only know about Androids. And
Yeah.
it
has the cloud.
So why would you set up a separate something just for that's Google when you have Safari and you have the iCloud or whatever?
Because his Gmail account's created because, like, if he wants to buy anything, you have to have your like an Apple ID.
Yeah, so why doesn't he use his Apple ID? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Why did he involve
need
Google's
a Gmail?
in this?
No idea. That's a great question. And then my other question is, when they talk about all the devices that Amy has, didn't she just have a phone, or am I forgetting one? Because obviously at this point she knows he's checking her phone.
Yes.
So she doesn't want to do anything on there. So why not use his iPad? But then why wouldn't she clear the work history or the search history? And then why is there the weird search right beforehand about the organs in the body? That one gets me. That one puts me on the prosecutor side. Like, why are you searching organs?
But that
in
was
the body?
right near her surgery time, wasn't it?
Hey, Joanne, that's the thing. I don't know how anything works with Apple. I've only ever had an Android. So that's why I don't know how these work. What'd you say, Shmita? Sorry.
I forget.
Shit.
Shmita.
Somebody rewind. Get back 10 seconds.
10 seconds to tell us what Shmita was talking about.
I don't know. Like,
Oh, that we were talking about the Googling of the body and
oh
the
yeah,
or the
because she had her surgery. So I think
yep.
someone said something like if they were looking it up for the daughter. But see, that could even be for the kids. Maybe. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't.
but
It's,
here's the thing.
they're
If
not
sh
proving though that it was Todd. That's
No,
my
it's
thing.
not. But my point is, okay, depending on who looked it up. If it were Amy that was looking up the placement of the organs, she would not have used that. She would not have keyed it in the way that it was keyed in because she's a nurse. So she would have used
Mm.
a different search. So whoever looked it up, which could have been one of the kids, to be quite honest, it could have been Tristan and it could have been Taylor. But
Well,
whoever,
at the end of the day, there's 500 searches, and they cherry picked 20 of them.
well, right, they cherry picked ones that they appeared.
So I'd need to see like all of them, or I might go back and like zoom in on the ones that weren't highlighted.
Yeah, I'm
That'd be a
curious
good
about
idea.
that. I think nobody's asked that part yet, Joanne. I'm wondering if it's going to be asked on Cross.
Momo said he does a good job on Cross, so
Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
So yeah, because that doesn't make any sense. It couldn't have been her that searched the anatomy thing because she would have used a different term. You know what I'm saying? She would have known just what to look for. All right, so let's see what our pal, I can't even remember what the defense attorney's name is anymore. He done lost me. What he's up to. All right, here we go. I'm putting him on 1.5 speed too, because that'll just be normal.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Deputy, during your direct testimony, you indicated a couple different times, I think, that you said where the body was. This is where you were told the body was, right?
Yes.
And that was provided ultimately, or the source of that information would have come from probably Tristan, right?
Can you pause it real quick?
Yes, Tristan told Deputy Luke Thompson, and then Deputy Luke Thompson told me.
All right.
We were so up into the googly searches that I totally forgot about a point I wanted to make way at the beginning when they were showing the pictures of the barn. Where her body was found was where all that tire and all that shit was in the corner.
Oh.
All that mess that was like at the intersection is where the body was. So when I remember thinking this back then too, is like the scratches on her and all of that is if she's back in there. I don't know, because I don't know exactly how she was laid, because obviously there's no crime scene pictures. You know what I mean? She was already moved.
Right.
But I was like, how much of that could be from all of this shit that's everywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And she was on the back gravel roads doing oral.
I know, God. But that's what I'm
Hard
saying,
on the knees, I'm sure.
that little shed, you know, I mean, it's not a little shed, but it's a little tiny area to be able to maneuver around in there. And I'm just like, if she was dizzy and bumping into shit, there's crap everywhere.
Matt,
Yeah, and I want to know, they said
quiet.
that they were chemical containers. Like,
Yeah, and those
nobody
pallets or
has
whatever.
said, yeah, like what type of chemicals? Like, nobody has reported like a strong odor or anything. Like, none of that. Like,
I don't know much about farming, so I don't know what kind of
I mean,
chemicals they needed.
Yeah.
me neither. So I didn't know like if it was something that hit her differently because she was already like lightheaded, or I don't.
Here.
What happened with the oral? I don't know. You got that, Jerry.
You have to ask Jerry. Jerry said they would go out on the gravel roads and she'd give them oral.
Like,
Sometimes in the hog barns.
like 3 or 4 days before her surgery was the
Yeah.
last time.
That's why I'm like, okay, so your knees are all bruised up because you were doing the do on the gravel.
I mean, I don't want to be crass or anything, but literally the word job is in the description, right? and then to have to be on gravel. It just seems like extra and unnecessary work. Is this
Mhm.
some weird, like, punitive thing you're doing to yourself? Like, I don't get it. You're already doing the work. Its job is in the title. Okay. I don't, no.
Yeah.
I'm a,
I don't know. And like the knuckles, the stuff on the knuckles, like that's nothing to me. Like when you work on a farm, you're
Yeah, she
gonna
was just
have like
replacing all those light fixtures or whatever.
she was wiping them off.
I don't know. She was doing something with the lights.
no, she took them out. Like they had this, so they had
Did
some
you
kind of
actually take
something
them off?
around. Yeah, because she would put them in the soapy bucket, the soapy water in the bucket, because
Oh,
they
I thought she
they
just had a
would
soapy bucket with like a cloth and
no,
went
no,
around.
they had
Gotcha.
like flies in there. Hey, I've learned a lot.
I'd just take a leaf blower and be like, shoo, blow them all out.
And Schmida would be
But I'm
fired
lazy.
day one.
She's probably replacing the lights with the tanning bed lights.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, to bronze up the piggies. Also, I don't like the fact that they call them hogs. I know it just seems that's just such a harsh name. Have y'all ever seen little baby pigs? They're pretty stinking cute.
I know a girl that was supposed to get like one of those like teapot pigs or something, or they're supposed to be really tiny, but this thing is like the biggest pig I've ever seen. She got
Shamita,
scammed.
Shamita, do you still have that video of her handses?
Yeah.
Will you I'll not I'll take this down real quick cuz Close
I just
Reviews
need
wants to see a picture of her hands. And I'm still waiting that they didn't ask, and I thought they would. Remember we talked about this, Teresa, about whether she was a righty or a lefty?
Yes. Nobody's ever talked about how
Nobody's asked
anybody's
about that.
heights. Nope. Nobody's heights. Nobody's weights. Nobody's nothings.
No. Mm-mm.
We just know how old Tear Bear is.
Correct. And that she
And we
doesn't
got
like
no history from this flippin' dude that's on the stand. This is one of the things that pissed me off. I'm like, what makes you qualified to be doing any of this? Like,
correct.
where is the expert witness? You're a deputy. Like, I get you guys don't have a lot of things going on, but this is a murder. You're saying it's a murder. You know, we're trying this guy for the rest of his life. Like, how are you qualified for this? You don't even tell us.
No, and it's like this isn't just this is a complex case. And I think what makes it so complex is first of all, this isn't a scene that they came upon where she was. She was moved from the scene and taken to the hospital by the only witnesses, right? Which would be Todd and Tristan.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it further complicates things when you're seeing everything after the fact. You have no idea where things were before, or you can't make it. It's very, very difficult. And I just think that there could have been on the state's part, if they had enough wherewithal to call in the assistant attorney general to prosecute so that they would have her expertise and resources at their disposal, why they didn't take advantage of them more.
I'm telling you, this is my whole issue with this whole trial.
Okay. This looks like it's her wedding band. So I'm guessing this would be her left hand in the first picture, and this is her right hand in the second picture. That Shmita just already scrolled through. See how Shmita does me? And wait, go back, please.
I'm going back. That
Okay.
one or the next one?
Hold on. All right, the next one, please. Wow, they took this a long time. Look at her fingernail beds are already blue. Okay, I'm
Well,
ready
the one was taken by the chick, and then the other one was taken by the dude because it had better lighting. So I'd have to go back and see like what the time difference.
Okay, now this is definitely the same hand, but no, it's not. It's a different hand, but they're closer up views.
Oh, do I have them on group? I didn't even pay attention. I just threw two hands together. Is there other?
I mean, the abrasions that she has aren't that now this is interesting on the inside of her hand.
Yeah, the one guy said that. Oh, crud. The one guy said that the like the blood on the crease, that he doesn't know if it was like from the hand or if it was from.
I was actually looking at the bruise on her palm. As I remember the blood in the crease, he doesn't know where that came from. But her palm is bruised at the end towards her wrist, in between her thumb.
Yeah, up on the.
Mm-hmm. But that's an interesting mark because it's not scraped, which if you were falling, you would have there would be both a bruise from where it hit and then, because you're still moving, a scrape.
Yeah, this is her right hand.
Mm-hmm. And there's nothing really incredibly remarkable on either hand, really, that shows that I can't tell from the pictures whether she was right-handed or left-handed because she's bruised on both of them or scraped on both of them.
Let me go back in. Yeah, no, I think I just have them switched.
I think the picture we were just looking at with the palm is the second picture here.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would not take, if they took pictures with the rings on, they would leave them on. They document it as it is.
So the hand on the right.
Mm-hmm. And if they were going to take pictures with the removal of the rings, all of the rings would have been removed.
Right. So this one, the left is the left picture is her left hand. The right picture is her right hand.
Mm-hmm.
The one of the palm is her right hand.
Mm-hmm. The bruise on her right index finger knuckle is interesting.
The heart?
No, the
Little heart
bruise on
the bruise.
the right hand, honey, not her left hand. The second picture,
Gotcha,
her
gotcha.
right index finger. Yeah.
Well, so then that was my other thought. So people want to say, okay, so she gets hit with this corn rake, but these are defensive wounds. Well, she's never hit in the front with the corn rake. She's only ever hit in the back. So, and if she was hit and if she was like she was putting her hands up because she's hit with the corn rake, then there would be punctures in her hands, not just scrapes and bruises.
Well, she was hit with the handle.
But look how easily she bruises too, though, with her IV thing.
That IV
Like
is not. Yeah, but that's not an easy bruiser, babe. That is a badly placed IV.
Oh.
Anybody would get that bruise.
It looks like the bruises are from different times. See, I agreed with that, but nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about, when these bruises actually, the different levels of bruising.
Yeah, because some of these, okay, so
there's no rings.
Okay.
Like you can take a notch out of it or something. It's called like a bruise punch. Where did I see that? Was it on the waffle trial? Maybe, but they were like, you can take like a biopsy basically of the bruise and you can see if it's like fresh or if it's healing.
Adventures. Well, yeah, you can by the color of it. So
yeah, but this was like a biopsy type thing, like a little like hole punch thing. Not hole punch. They were talking like that, like they can actually take a piece of it and study the bruise.
Oh, wow, I don't know they could do that now, but they used to be by the coloring. So the darker color of the bruise, it's fresher. As it heals, it starts to fade and it gets to that like light purple, then green, then yellow, and then it fades away. I see what you mean. But it looks crushed.
Yeah, but they placed her hand like that, so I mean that's kind of on them too. She had no injuries to her hands, according to anybody. No like broken bones.
No, I
according
know,
to
but
anybody.
doesn't it looks the way that she's holding her hands is the way her hands were when she passed away.
But like, how much of this is? Do we know if she tried to crawl? This is when the reenactment comes
Yeah,
back
see,
in.
we don't know
Where's the
any
blood
of the
spatter?
stuff.
Yeah, we don't know all of that. So
So
this
see,
is her. This is her knees.
so see on the if we're facing it, right? It'd be on our right. See the bruises, the two bruises that are right above the measuring the scale? Those to me look a little bit older, like they didn't occur at the same time as these two right on her kneecaps.
Right, but if she's crawling on her knees, is that what that's from?
Well, at the bottom
would she
there,
not pool some blood there because she was on her hands and knees when she was found? Apparently,
You'd think there'd be somebody testifying to this shit, so we'd know.
well, right, and it does appear on both sides that there are indentions in the bruise. So the bruises, she wasn't hit. Whatever she fell onto on her knees on the ground was not a smooth surface. It's not like she fell on a slab of concrete. What was the floor of the barn? Was it gravelly?
You have that in here too. So go back to where the tire one is.
Okay. Because I think it was gravelly, and that looks like she fell onto gravel.
but there was also stuff on the.
Yeah, but that's not
there.
a smooth concrete. That's really a rough concrete.
Yeah.
It
That's
looks
probably
like
Yeah,
you
not
can
that
see
one.
like the little spots.
yeah, it looks like that's those I think they're called stippling. It looks like that's where she hit. You know what I mean?
Those little the farm equipment thing?
No, if you look on her
Okay.
knees.
The dimples and the.
Yeah,
okay.
there's the
So,
dimples and the
go back.
bruises.
Yeah, go back a little bit. See, there's
The driveway. That's the driveway. Those two. That one's the driveway, and then these are in the shed apparently.
what?
Yeah, they look
These
exactly
are
the
right.
same.
This
Okay, so this one with the towel,
is in the shed.
and then
In the
this one, like, yeah, this one's in the shed. But let me see here.
Okay, so you see all these big things that are on the ground right there?
That's the
where she
driveway.
was supposedly found. Oh, that's the driveway?
Yeah, apparently this is the driveway.
Oh.
But even if you go back to where the towel was, which is inside of the shed, it is not like a smooth. See, it's textured. So if she fell onto her knees onto this concrete, it's for lack of a better word, it's bumpy. It's textured. It's not smooth, and it matches what her knees look like. There's like these little dimples. Lupe, she had an ablation. Can't talk.
What about that farm equipment, that whatever that is, that like a piece of machinery that's like laying down on the ground?
I think that's like a.
I wish they would have taken better pictures of go back to, I think,
if you go back to where the corn rake one was, that's where they take it out and then they move her. That's where she was found.
Right.
Right there. See the circle thing?
Mm-hmm.
So then you also have this weird circle thing. What is that? Does she hit that? Is that where she hit the head?
I can't
Is that
figure
where her
out.
face bruise comes from?
I can't figure out none of that. Oh, let me go.
Me
Oh,
either.
There I go.
And this is the kind of shit that I'm like, in this trial, I'm like, why is this stuff not being discussed?
it makes no damn ass sense.
No, see, like, does she fall right here? I don't know. Is she trying to crawl, like, to get to the door? Because the door's like towards the bottom of this picture. So
Yeah.
she's like trying to get towards the door, and that's like she's scraping up her hands or knees, whatever. I don't know.
Hold on. Let me. Oh, I can't because Shmita's sharing. Yes, I can. Leave it here, Shmita, for just a sec.
Okay.
I can make my screen bigger.
Oh, I can,
Because if you're on StreamYard,
everybody.
I can do it like that. There you go. Well, now it's super huge. I mean, there's a lot of no, babe, you're fine. There's a lot of things next to that
Mhm.
rake. I think that's a piece of wood. I mean, it's chunky stuff. And I
And then you
can't
got the thing of
tell.
chemicals right there. Did she
Yeah,
fall
I
and hit her
can.
face on that?
I,
These are. I don't know who. If you may be listening over there in the Iowas and who took these pictures. These are terrible pictures. They
The dude
show
that was
us
on the stand took the picture.
nothing. Well, I can't remember. Deputy Travis.
Hemsworth, this said.
Yeah.
Yes,
You.
the expert.
Mo. Mo's already mad. I can already tell. What you steaming
Oh,
about, Mo?
I flew home from work so I could catch the cross. I was like, yes, Teresa, ask some more questions.
Hey, print ready?
I'm telling you, I cannot bypass the accident. This is like a safety hazard to
What
begin
if
with. And I
she
know it's a freak accident, so don't get me wrong. So when I remember I was looking up like freak accidents
Oh,
because of
God.
this case, like
We're clear that Google history, or at least
I
let us
know I
help
said
you come
probably
with
it's gonna
the.
be all Aztec-y and all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah.
I look up the most random thing.
Hey, small town girl.
All kinds of peeps coming on in.
I know. Hey, y'all. Hey, recliner detective. Thanks for joining. What I need to know is what if she tripped? What if you see how there is the cement, but then there's that little, it doesn't go all the way. It's not finished. There's like a piece or a in between the wall of the barn that right there. You see how there's whatever the hell that is, the wall of the barn,
ground.
and then this and the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
What if she tripped and she went inside? I mean, it is possible. An accident. I mean, it's possible.
I don't think that she was hit with the rake, Team Psych. I think that she fell on it. The first time I think she may have bumped it, and then I think when the four that are like impaling her, the deep ones, I think it was laying like that. She fell on it, but wasn't dead. Tried to get up or rolled over to crawl wherever she was going, and didn't have the strength to do it because she was dying.
See, and when I'm
Maybe he
upset,
pushed her. That's
What-
an idea.
here's the thing though. What I don't like is, okay, this is an excellent picture of the corn rake. Well played, Deputy Travis. But what's up here? What's on this wall? What else is around? Like, I recognize it's not a good area. Like, it's a small confined space, which maybe a video camera would have been more advantageous. Maybe you could have done a digital video recorder picture combo.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she were trying to maneuver around, what if she just got her foot caught in between the slab and whatever the wall or whatever that is and twisted and fell? I mean, it is possible.
Did y'all talk about the scratches on the concrete?
No. Where are they back?
The one with the corn rake.
No,
Oh.
couldn't tell.
Okay.
Go
back.
forward. No, you're forward.
Well, let me go forward back to where I was.
Oh, okay.
Right there. See those?
Oh.
See, what are
That's
those
not
scratches?
scratches. That's the
Oh,
shadow. It's the shadow from the times of the corn
Oh.
rake.
Thank you for that.
You're
I was
welcome.
You got
kinda
like a
like,
fucking
how
wild
the hell
animal
did
in
that?
there. She's like, no, a wild
I
animal
know.
came in and killed her. The
Well,
triple
I was like,
problem.
how the hell did that corn rake make those big scratches in concrete? This corn
Yeah.
rake's like,
Possessed. It's like Idle Hands, but a corn rake. Y'all ever seen that movie Idle
Oh
Hands?
yeah.
In this case, it's the corn rake. This is that's the shadow.
okay. Well, I feel dumb now.
Well, you no,
Oh no, because
no.
I was like, wait a minute, those are scratches.
I thought when she put it back on here, I figured I could see immediately, and it on first review it does, but if you put your face closer up like I am doing, if y'all could see me right now, it's awful. Smash your face right
Got
up
her
to
eye
the
up to her
computer screen.
screen.
I got my good old hoe on, and I can see that it's the shadow.
You got your nose tipped up so you're looking down with your eyes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I can tell it now.
Yes, because I have bifocals. Thank you, Shmita, for rubbing that in.
Nita, when you hear this, you are going to know what I'm talking about during cross. I'm not going to say anything, but when you hear it, you'll know it. Because we talked
I
about
hope
it during
so.
the
It's a lot
last
of pressure
case.
you're putting on me.
No, you'll know as soon as you hear it.
All right, should I start the cross?
Yeah, I'm ready. I just
Sure.
forgot that I wanted to talk about the area, and I went into the Google searches and forgot all about the area.
I think it's
Did
very
we go over the
weird.
area?
Yeah, that's what we were just doing.
Gotcha. I'm just gonna.
Oh crap! I
I'm
didn't
just
mean
gonna
to
take that down.
do that. No, you're good, Shmita.
And your examination of the shed, we'll keep calling it that, consisted of a walk around, and then you went through and looked for places where someone might have fell and struck their head or left some blood or something like that. Is that how I understood you to say?
Yes.
And you didn't find anything like that?
I just found 2 drops of blood, and that was in the placement where Amy was said to be located.
If I could ask the state to please pull up Exhibit 111, the aerial. Go up there, Your Honor. Yes, go right ahead. I want to ask you about those cameras. There was a camera on this barn?
No,
Which one?
south barn,
This one,
just the north of the loaded chute.
in this area?
Yes,
And where was the other camera?
they were both up. They were both on where your finger was.
Here.
Yep.
Just angled at different angles.
Yes.
And the recording equipment was over either in this area or in the main shop?
Yes.
Recliner
Only one of the-
detective. Her lungs and her liver were punctured. Her lunga, not
You
both
said
lungs.
one of the
Just one.
cameras was pointed in the direction of the shed.
Yes. One of the cameras was pointed right at the red shed where Amy was found. The shed with a 1 on it.
And the other one was pointed where?
The other one was pointed. There's a semi in the yard. You can see that right there. The coverage, the video covered those 3 grain bins right in between where number 12 is on the picture. And it covered a view of the yard. You could see the shop. I actually viewed a feed truck filling them grain bins. So those grain bins are actually to the south of where that office is in the North Hog building. So anybody that would come out.
And the camera that would show towards the shed, there was nothing on it.
No, we weren't able to obtain any video from that camera.
And the other direction, September 11th through October 29th.
Yes.
And then there was some after November 10th.
The video resumed recording on November 11th, the day after the homicide, to November 15th. And then we seized the unit on the 16th.
But that's the one that wouldn't show the shed.
It would show the travel path to and from the red shed.
Sir, I'm going to apologize in advance if I butcher some of these terms because I'm not so educated about all this technology. The exhibit 105, that was the long list of searches and visits that you just got done testifying about. Where did those searches, what device did those searches come from?
Is
iPad.
that Tristan
All-
back there?
All of them, yes.
How do you know that?
Because I sent a search warrant to Google, and the indicator on that search warrant
I
was
don't know. I've
just,
never
Todd
seen
Mullis
his
76 at
face that's not been
gmail.com.
blurred out.
That is the indicator for that device, the account on that device. So when you receive the results back, you can see in the list of searches that's consistent with the search history, because the device physically had organs of the body on it. The records that I received, organs of the body, is in the material. That's the only email account associated with that iPad. That's how I know that those searches are from that iPad, because you have to enter an indicator, if you would say that, of that Google account. That makes sense.
Did
No.
you also conduct what's known as a Celebrite exam of the iPad?
Yes.
And tell the jury, please, what a Celebrite exam is.
So a Celebrite exam is, I take the physical unit and I hook it to a machine, and it extracts all of the physical data that's on the machine to like an external device so I can view it. And it doesn't disrupt any of the stuff that is still stored on the machine, like contacts, phone calls, text messages, things of that nature.
Even deleted material,
Not always.
sometimes.
Sometimes.
Have you made a comparison between the Celebrite, and I think the term that a lot of people use is a Celebrite dump, where it sucks all that information out of a device? Have you made a comparison between the Celebrite dump on Todd's iPad and 105 to see if they're the same?
I don't know if I physically did that or not.
And if there's all these searches are not on that Celebrite dump, what would that tell us?
These are the Google searches from the iPad. The ones I obtained from Google with the authentication letter, these are the searches from the iPad.
Isn't it possible for someone to log in to someone's Todd Mullis 76 at gmail.com from another device?
Yes, you can log into an email, any device. Sure, yes.
For instance, if my assistant down here, we each have a laptop in our office, and she came in and logged in, it would look like I was making a search, right?
I don't know if that would track your Google history. I think your Google history is machine specific.
But
No,
if you log
No,
in
it's not.
to-
You can log into your email on any device.
expert
That's just your email.
Travis.
That Google offers a service, which is email. You can have email, but as far as logging into somebody else's device and then showing that search history on that device, I don't believe that's possible.
Wrong.
If I
It is
understand your
possible.
testimony, what you're telling the jury here today is that all these searches were made by Todd Mullis off that iPad.
Yes,
And all of these, you believe, either relate to combines and farming, or to these suspicious searches about ancient history of cheating people and stuff like that.
yes.
Moment, Your Honor.
That's not true about the Google. Hold on a second. I must interject here.
See why I got annoyed?
Yes, Mo, I do see why you get annoyed. I got it. You don't have to stay annoyed though, babe. We're going to go through it. I promise. It's all coming out now.
Do you know how hard it is to wait a month for you to watch a trial and be annoyed for a whole month?
Okay,
So
I
let
don't
me
think.
let it out.
Okay, listen, Snippy. First of all, I don't think it was a month. I think it was 2 weeks.
It felt
It
like a
feels
month.
like a month.
I know, bless her heart. Okay, so here's the deal. I just told you guys, I have a phone, I have a tablet, I have a laptop. All of my devices have 2 email accounts, 2 Gmail accounts. My personal Jen Lou Gmail, and then the one for the channel, which is the Blind Justice Podcast one. I can switch between accounts on my phone, my laptop, and my tablet, and I can log into either one and do a search. If I do a search under Jen Lou from my phone, and I go to my laptop, if I'm logged into Chrome browser and I pull up my search history, guess what's there?
Exactly.
My phone
Expert
search history.
Travis.
So no, Travis, this time you're incorrect.
The only thing is because he had a flip phone, so it probably is from the iPad because that's the only thing he had with Wi-Fi. But they also had a laptop in their house, and Amy set up his Google account. He didn't even know how to do it.
Right. Anybody with access to your Google account can log in on any device under that Google account, and it will appear as though that specific Google account, and it's accurate, that specific Google account is connected to the search. it doesn't tell you the human being behind the Google account doing the search. And that's the problem with some of this digital evidence.
Right. But also, if his Google was up on the laptop and she was using it, it would look like he searched it.
Correct. However, you can on your Gmail account, on your Google account, you can see which devices are logged in. But I don't think that you can narrow it down as to which device searched what, unless the device is going off of two different Wi-Fis. Like if my phone were home and my laptop was at your house, Mo, right? Obviously the location would be
Right.
different, and they could check that, but I don't think they could check. And Heather, I never said it that way. It's always been that way. I didn't do anything intentionally when I set up my Gmail account. It linked all of my devices. Probably because I gave it permission, but I don't remember setting it that way intentionally. I probably just clicked yes. Sometimes I just be clicking yes, don't even know that I'm clicking yes too. Watch, in like 5 years, I'm going to owe Google a bunch of, like a kid or something, or eggs.
You're not going to want any of those.
Jeez. When I got this new laptop, it told me to like sign in on my browser, and I signed in with my email and all my stuff, like everything that was like my favorites bar, all that
Mhm.
stuff, all came, I
Mine
don't know,
too.
just over by itself to this new one. So
Wait a
Mine did
minute.
too.
Something
you're gonna just
happened, you
pull.
guys. Hold on. You guys talk. It looks like there's only
You
one
said hold
person
on.
in here. Hold on for me. My brain was holding on. I don't
No,
know. StreamYard just did something weird. You see what it says? How it says there's only one person
yeah,
watching?
it's been doing that to like big channels too. Every once in a while, it dips down to one watching, and then it goes back to normal, and then
It's so weird. Oh, I thought maybe our stream got interrupted or something. Okay.
Maybe everybody got tired of our shit.
Probably.
Okay. Let's all band
Well-
together. We're out of here.
Well, see, but go ahead, Shamita. What were you going to say? What are you saying?
Well, because at one point he's saying that it's the Celebrite, and at the other point he's saying that it's from like Google. So is he putting two reports together? Like I don't understand that. Because if it was the Celebrite for the iPad, then it's I don't.
Well, that was my question, because if it's Celebrite, the Celebrite will dump, and it'll dump the IP address and all the metadata, so that you know exactly what type of device took or did the search, took a photo, did whatever. It tells you everything. So you would
Mhm.
know.
But
like,
does it tell you what Google account
Well,
it was done?
I don't
the
know. That's how-
expert is saying that it doesn't. The dump doesn't show everything, but his lawyer is saying yes, and they have it, but they don't ever produce it.
Oh, he's probably wrong. I don't know.
I don't know either. I've never dumped a phone to know.
Okay, so I think this is what's happened. I think that when they do a Cellbrite dump, the data comes off of your phone, right? And they can see certain things. Okay. What it won't show you, which is what the Google, when they requested the authentication from Google, it will show you what the search history it was. But if you request from Google, Google will separate it out into visited versus searched, and it will also tell you the words that were used, that were typed in to the search. That's the difference, I think.
Yeah, but don't you think it's weird that he said he didn't compare them? Like Mr. Expert?
Yeah, but he said he didn't compare the dump to the actual device.
Right.
Not that he didn't compare the two different reports, but that he didn't see if he didn't do a comparison and look to see if the data that the Cellbrite dump retrieved is the same as the data on the. He didn't do a comparison of the physical iPad.
Right. And my thinking is this is where the defense should have had an expert again. But he's getting ready to, I'll get justified even more here in a minute. So carry on.
Okay.
Are they not talking, or can I just not hear them?
They're not talking. Because I did it too
I'm
when
gonna
I
go
was
through
I
105
was like,
and
wait,
pick out a
what's
few
happening?
searches or visits.
Yeah,
I
they're
would ask the
Did I
city
get
police
kicked out
to pull up,
again?
no, they self-muted.
I'm looking at July 19th, 2018, and the time shown is 2:49 and 18. Your Honor, may I approach while they're looking for that?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
On the page at the bottom, July 18th at 2:07.
We don't know that
Yes.
yet,
And
Joanne.
go up from there about 11 lines. What's that search?
Is this July 19th, 2018 at 2:46 a.m.?
Yes.
Search for wedding rings for women.
What's the next one up?
www.rothjewelers.com.
Next one up.
Search for design a wedding ring.
Yeah, the prosecution left all these searches out.
Yes.
Of course.
Search for design a wedding ring.
The next four on above that.
Design.kdiamonds.com.
Look at her over there. Oh, I forgot she sped up. I was like, she's moving her hand fast.
Up to the top four. Just tell us what those four are on that page.
They look like bridal searches. www.chicboutiqueny.com.
So if I understand you correctly, all these searches are being done from Todd Mullis' iPad,
Yes,
and he's searching for wedding dresses and wedding rings.
there are searches that are in relation to his employment, to his hobbies, to his
Valid
interests,
question.
and to items that he physically owns. Yes,
I didn't ask you that.
You sure didn't.
You're
Get them.
telling the jury that Mr. Mullis is looking for wedding rings and designing diamonds and going to wedding boutiques.
he could be shopping for something of that such.
Or somebody else could be doing these searches, right?
It's possible, but not probable.
Off a different device. Amy Mullis.
Off of a different device, no. These searches are from the iPad.
So if we
How
take a
is
time out here and
he
have you compare
able
the
to say
Cellbrite
what
dump,
is-
we're going to find every one of these searches on that Cellbrite dump.
As I explained before in my testimony, when you click on the Google browser, it's going to give you a short list of search items. So 10, 12, 15. And they drop off after a while because the system does not store all those. I performed a search warrant through Google associated with Todd Mullis's email. I got a return back for all the Google searches that were performed on that machine. Now on that iPad, when you get into the Google search bar and you click on it, you can see your last 10 to 15 Google searches. I've seen organs of the body. When I received my warrant back from Google, you can see on the 700 pages that I received back, organs of the body is in my list in my packet I received from Google. I also received a letter of authentication from Google with them records to indicate those are the searches from the iPad.
How many pages was the Cellbrite dump?
That went on a flash drive, so I didn't print that out, but it's on an external storage device.
But I don't think you
Okay,
answered my
Shmi,
question.
to
If we
listen.
compare the Cellbrite dump, which we have right here, with Exhibit 105, they should be the same.
It depends on if the Cellbrite dump, you would say, pulled the internet history. Sometimes Cellbrite dumps don't pull internet history. Like I had stated before, when you manually download a phone or a device using Cellbrite,
Sir,
it pulls contacts, text messages, phone calls.
Excuse me. Well, he didn't exactly answer it. I'm going to let counsel ask another question. You'll get a chance to redirect. Go ahead. Let me check for a few more here. Just a second.
So you didn't answer my question.
July 15th, 2018. This would be at the very top of the
Probably
well, not-
should have
just
been
one
this
line down from the top
feistier
of the page.
with the forensic pathologist, but
Find that?
Yes.
Yes.
What's that a search for?
Search for Zales.com.
Sales is a diamond place, isn't it?
Yes.
Next one down.
That was a search for www.pinterest.com.
What's Pinterest?
I'd have to ask my wife. I don't use Pinterest, I guess.
Okay. But you're saying Mr. Mullis did off his iPad.
The records show that the iPad searched that. Yes.
Then you talked about some there below there about swimming and floating and so forth. Below that, July 9th, 1750-54. What's that one?
This was a search for Lady Antebellum. We owned the night.
Further down, there's Carrie Underwood.
Because Todd totally
Also
wants
country
to listen to that
artist.
song.
Artist.
Oh my gosh.
Did you see any in here for the American Inn in Newton, Iowa? Did you ever
Yes.
see- Did you coincide that with any of the investigation as to Amy Mullis's travels during the summer of 2018?
I'd have to look back to compare dates.
Do you know if Mr. Mullis ever went to the American Inn in Newton, Iowa?
I do not know that.
You know who was doing stuff in the hotels?
Mhm.
We can, well, one of these that you testified about going back to January 21st of 18 at 3:35.
I don't think that's Tristan back there, you guys.
I don't think.
Was dated-
I don't think.
January 21 at 3:35.
I can send you the pictures without them blurred, but I don't think so.
What's that one?
This is a search for how to do a DNA test without the father knowing.
Dangerous question, I suppose. But why would Todd Mullis do a search like that
I don't know.
unless someone else did? Is it possible someone else did?
It's possible, but it's not probable.
You didn't ask if it was probable.
But it is
I
probable.
wanna talk to you
That's what I
about,
don't
It-
get.
some of the times that you've
He
given.
doesn't understand.
What's
Yeah,
UTC mean?
You gotta
Lord.
pause
On
because
this
this is
printout.
important.
Central Standard Time.
If the internet tells you you're wrong, would you disagree?
Can you ask that again? I guess I never had the internet tell me I'm wrong.
Were you about to?
Yep.
Have you ever researched that UTC is the successor to Greenwich Meridian Time, GMT?
Okay. I've never searched that. No.
And that to obtain the time in different time zones that in the central United States, during daylight savings time, you would subtract 5 hours to get the correct time.
Okay.
So these times you're saying 2:30 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. If you subtract 5 hours, it's being done in the evening. Mr. Firehelm, go ahead, ask the question. Do you understand this UTC concept?
No.
So if you don't understand it, then could your times be off?
I went by the times on displayed on the search history.
The UTC time, as it's shown on there.
Yes.
Okay.
Remember Schmida?
Mm-hmm. Even I remember that, even though you didn't ask me.
Let me ask
Well,
you.
because Schmida corrected me when I did it on the
You went
last
through
trial.
and talked about
Oh.
That's why I thought she'd
searches
catch
or
it.
visits that seem to talk about cheating and infidelity and ancient history
That was
dealing with
it.
issues like that and so forth. And I think you worked up and then it switched off to some searches about Jerry Frazier. Does that kind of track with the flow of your questions and answers?
Yes.
And that Frazier searches, I believe, were happening in mid to late July.
I'd have to check the date, but yes, the searches were completed.
In your review of 105 and the whole body of searches, were there similar types of searches about infidelity and cheating and so forth that were occurring, let's say, after the end of July?
I believe there's some in August. I'd have to read through all these again, but I know within what we have, there are searches related to that.
And then the one you found particularly interesting was on November 6th, I think, the one about body organs.
Yes.
And was there anything unique about that day as it relates to this case in terms of Amy Mullis, Todd Mullis? And
It's 4 days before the homicide.
did you also learn it was also a day that she had a medical procedure done?
It could have been.
So if someone's going to have a medical procedure done, they might search a medical website or whatever you want to call it. Possible?
Yeah, it's possible.
And probable.
You went through a
Mm-hmm.
grouping that seemed to deal with hunter safety. Remember that?
Yes.
If she wasn't a
Do
nurse.
you believe that for Todd Mullis being what appears to be a very active hunter, fisherman, that kind of thing, would those be
Todd
unusual?
admits that he searched that.
As it relates to being a hunter,
Right.
I just know there's searches of hunter education within the searches. I mean, that's not unusual for a hunter, I guess.
I'm just asking the ones that you talked about, whether or not those were suspicious searches or why they're being emphasized.
We just created a cluster of the searches that we felt should be displayed that are relevant and with the whole picture of things.
He cherry picked.
Yeah, because the
Do you know
wedding
if any of the Mullis
dresses
children
and the
were
wedding
involved in
ring
any
search is
hunter
not
safety courses or anything like that?
I
important.
don't.
And the
Yeah.
songs he looked up for her funeral.
I think that's all I have for now, sir. Thanks.
Redirect? Yes, Your Honor. Deputy, just so that we're
Yeah,
clear
I
for the ladies and
looking
gentlemen of
back,
the jury,
and
you
one of them
physically
have a
looked inside that,
Pinterest
correct?
search
Yes.
And based on your understanding of what Cellbrite is or
in
what you indicated,
between.
it is on the device at that time.
Yes. Basically, what you're doing is your cell phone or your iPad, you're transferring whatever is on that machine physically onto an external device so you can view it.
Is that sometimes commonly known as a dump, a cell phone or iPad
Yes.
dump?
Yes.
And as the defense attorney asked you, sometimes deleted material is on there
Sometimes there is,
and sometimes there
and
isn't.
sometimes there isn't.
And
And sometimes you have internet history transfer over, and sometimes you don't.
the internet history that you received connected to this Gmail account spanned approximately, was it almost 18 months or around that amount of time?
The results I got back from Google.
Yes.
Yes. From 2017 to the present.
And you
Date.
actually executed a search warrant for the specific account of toddmullis76@gmail.com.
Yes.
And for searches related to that Gmail account and that Google account also, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And Todd Mullis has a flip phone, correct?
Correct. And
and-
it does not have internet.
You learned that Amy Mullis had a phone
Yes.
and that she had a specific Gmail account.
She did.
And
Yes.
that was mullisrn@gmail.com.
Yes.
And you also executed a search warrant for that Gmail account and those searches as well.
Yes.
And you were able to, in your investigation, analyze the data that you received.
Yes.
Now, counsel asked you a lot about searches about bridal, I think it was a bridal place and wedding rings. You recall those?
Yes.
And there are some searches on the records that you talked about that do have some of those things, correct?
Yes.
None of those are directly before or directly after the cluster of searches that we highlighted to the jury.
No.
And he also asked you about UTC time, correct?
Lies.
Yes.
The thing that was most significant about the searches was the item searched, correct?
Yes. Content.
And then also what was searched in succession.
Yes. Before and after. Yes.
Now, Amy Mullis, in your investigation, was an RN nurse, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And you learned that she had a simple procedure on November 6, 2018.
Yes.
And that was nothing to do with her organs.
Correct. Yes.
Nothing further.
Any recross? If Amy had the password to the iPad, could she then go in and do searches on the Mullis account?
Yeah. If you have a password to an iPad, you can go and do searches on the machine. Sure.
And that would show up on 105 then?
Yeah. Whatever searches are done on that machine. Yeah. Yes.
And did you determine whether or not Amy had that password to the iPad?
I don't know if she had it or not.
But what you just said, I think I understood you, is if she had it, she could get on the iPad and do searches.
Objection asked and answered.
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Yes. If you have a password to a device, yeah, you can. Yes, you can get on and do a search.
Kind of like my example of Christy getting on my laptop at work.
Objection, cumulative judge, and he's already answered the question.
I'm going to allow it. Go ahead.
Please re-ask the question.
If Christy got on my laptop at the office, she could do searches and it would come up on my search history,
Yeah. So if she got on your laptop, she could search the internet on your laptop.
knowing my password to get in.
Yeah. Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you, sir. You can step down.
See, he did good on that
Wow.
cross. He should have done that for everybody.
That's the most alive he's.
I feel like he is the type of defense attorney that's like, well, the state's not proving their case, so we're good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's on them to, to prove that you did this, and they're not able to do that. So like, we don't need to do all the other stuff.
That's such a dangerous I mean, theoretically, the truth is you're right that it's the state has the burden of proof. And but I feel like I will say this. To me, it seems like he only gets fired up when he sees a hole that he can, you know what I'm saying? Like with the searches. That's an important detail. And he saw an opening and he took it. But there were openings in the not with these other people, even with Jerry, not really, but um with the medical examiner or the forensic pathologist, there were plenty of openings there that he didn't take advantage of, and that's unfortunate.
I agree. And I think that he should have gotten some experts.
So one of these things on the Google thing is for Pornhub.
Of course it is.
Well, yeah, he goes over that in his, well, I won't spoil it.
Oh, does he? Because it's like
That
not.
comes up.
It's on the same page that the organ stuff.
He said they watched that together.
Oh, so she was around whenever he searched the organs.
Well, I mean, he says. But he also says that he admits to looking up the organs because he says his daughter was worried about it, her mom, so he pulled it up to show her.
And I didn't catch the UTC when they were reading it. And now the times make more sense. 1 o'clock in the morning wouldn't be 1 o'clock in the morning. It would be what? 12, 11, 10, 9, 8 o'clock in the evening.
Right.
So that makes a difference.
Yeah, because the state was going to try to say you weren't showing that to your daughter at 1 in the morning.
Right. But that was an opening that they should have closed, and they didn't. And the defense definitely on that testimony got a point for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to point out
Travis expert.
most of the articles and like mainstream media and even YouTubers, big YouTubers, say that the Google searches are what convicted him.
Really?
When
Yeah.
I go back to for the Hunter's Ed, it looks like a Montana, not Iowa. I don't know where Montana is.
That'll come up again too. So
Oh,
just hold your thoughts.
Okay.
But I
'cause,
wouldn't think the Google searches would be what got him.
Oh, I'm just saying that that's like was the consensus.
I mean,
when I
yeah,
was doing,
that
like,
would,
research.
yeah.
I
I
was
guess
like,
that would help.
and I think that's probably why I was like, what these Google searches? There's just no way. There's no way that this is enough
Well,
to put this man away.
but okay, so let's think about this from the juror's perspective. Okay, how many of those jurors that end up deliberating do you think really fully understand the difference between a Cellbrite dump and a Google authenticated search history?
Right, because there are probably a lot of farmers on the jury too, and they probably aren't like us where we know you can search from your phone and it's going to go on to another device.
Right. So if I'm looking at it from this jury's perspective, and I can understand why in their mind those searches would be damning. And I don't think, I will say this, him asking the deputy about the UTC time, the way I understood what he was trying to say, but I'm not on this jury. But the way that he was asking it would be confusing for the jury. I don't think that he did a good enough job helping the jury to understand that when they go back to deliberate, they're going to be looking at a time that is not accurate as to the time that it happened. You have to add 5 hours. Oh, wait. Right? Add 5 hours. So if it
Subtract, I think.
is it,
yeah, I
which
think
one
it's
is it?
subtract.
Okay, so subtract. So you have to subtract 5 hours.
I think they go into it more when he's on the stand. They go over the Google stuff a lot when he's on the stand. And I'm
But I mean,
pretty sure
he can't really ask him anything about it because the guy says he doesn't know anything about it. So otherwise, he's just going to be badgering the guy because the guy's saying, "I don't know anything about it."
No, I mean when Todd's on the stand.
She's talking to me.
Yeah, I'm talking to Jen.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I think if he would have phrased his question better, like if he would have said, "Do you know what the term UTC time stands for, or UCT time stands for?" And then he would have answered no.
And he's the expert.
Right. And then he could have followed that up with, "Are you aware that UTC time and the time zone where the murders took place are different?" There was a way he could have broken it down in a way it's for the jury to understand. And that's the part I think he could have just done. He did a good job, but I think he could have just done a little bit better of a job, because I don't think your average person, really, regardless of where they live. I can promise you right now, if I went in the living room and asked my husband if he knew what the difference was between a Cellbrite dump and a Google authenticated subpoena search results return was, he would not.
Right.
But
Well,
he's
I didn't
the
know that
expert.
it didn't do the search. It didn't do
Right.
all the searches.
The expert should definitely know. But the point I'm trying to make is that needs to be, that's the part the defense needs to point out and make clear to the jury, that he doesn't know what he's talking about,
Yes,
that he's wrong. And that's the part they fell just a tiny bit short on.
I agree.
I agree.
Look at Print Ready's comment.
I don't think it helps that his lawyer always starts out with, "I don't know all this technology stuff." But then get somebody. Well, obviously he got somebody who did, because he wouldn't have known about UTC. But
I think
get an
the reason-
expert to do it.
Okay, but the expert is not going to. The expert's not going to be the one asking the questions. And I actually think that the reason that I think he's being honest when he says that, but it's also to the jury, it makes him not come across as argumentative or belligerent. It makes him more relatable to the jury, that you're asking these questions because you admit you're not an expert. And obviously neither is homeboy on the stand. I think that's why he's doing it.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
You know?
But Travis is an expert at everything in that small cop office. He drives the roads. He went to the crime scene, looked for the cameras. I mean, he did it all.
Yeah, he's literally, that's what I was saying. This is the guy I was talking about, that he's Mr. Everybody. He's the expert on everything.
This is like the town
he's
of Twin
12.
Peaks. The town of Twin Peaks only has 3 officers.
Yeah, and he's like 12.
Yeah. Remember the show Twin Peaks? Hawk.
Yeah.
What was the other? Harry. And the tall guy, God, what was his name? Him and the receptionist were together.
Randy Griffith.
That's what it reminds me of.
And go nip it in the bud. I'm telling you, you've got to nip it in the bud. These kids aren't acting right.
I was the guy that was always in the jail drunk. Forget his name.
Oh God.
Or the guy that threw rocks. No, you're the guy that threw rocks.
All right, so tomorrow we have the special agent guy or whatever he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the one that did the interrogation.
Okay.
And he's also the one that talked to the wife, Christy.
Yeah, he ruled her out.
Right. He ruled her out, but I forget who was asking it earlier, but they had asked about how did they rule her out? And I was explaining that the officer on the stand didn't speak with her, and so he wouldn't be able to testify to that.
Right.
So,
And I don't remember that, but I downloaded that one, so I haven't watched it twice.
oh, okay. Well, ladies, this was fun.
Yes.
Clearly, the bar is set real low to testify as an expert witness in Iowa. Good to know.
Good to know.
I'm wondering
I
if you're
wish
hiring.
Postman Man was still here, so then he'd understand what I was talking about when I was like expert.
Yeah. Trish Eichward, you are not kicked out of the jury. We want you to come up here, but you're always busy, and I don't want to pressure you. So that you know that the offer is always on the table.
Yeah, you're juror number 2 still. Look up on the screen.
Yeah.
1, 3, 4, 5.
I didn't even replace your number. I just gave Teresa her very own.
That way, whoever comes up next on another case, they have to be number 6.
Correct. At some point, maybe this will catch on and we'll have a full 12. Unfortunately, StreamYard will only let you have 10 people on panel, so we'll have to alternate.
We have alternates.
Between
I'll be the one that gets booted, guaranteed.
Well, I don't know if the next trial is actually televised. Then what? No way!
Oh, I know,
Excuse
Teresa.
y'all.
Hi, I was just asking about you today.
Oh, she doesn't have her number.
Oh, let me fix it for her.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
you can hear us.
Oh, I was like, wait, what? Girl, I have been busy. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing?
We're all good.
How are you doing?
Oh, you know, lovely.
You're missing a good trial.
I think is this a new one? Because I think I watched this one before.
No, this is an old. This is the one that Teresa wanted us to cover when we were done with Chazzle Dazzle.
Oh, okay.
This is the one I sent you the clip of. Don't say what it is, but remember?
Yeah. Yes,
right.
I remember. I think I watched this when this happened, actually. Because I remember, yeah. But that's why I'm kicked off this jury.
You're not
It's
kicked
nothing to
out.
do with your attendance.
Exactly. Exactly.
I know too much.
We're having fun with it. You should join. I know you've been busy, but when you can, you should join.
I know. I will. I promise.
Well, I think we only have a couple days left, so.
Oh
Yeah,
yes, you should
whenever
come
that's-
for his testimony. You need to come.
You know, I love listening to people testify in their defense.
Yes. Are y'all watching the Waffle House?
No.
Well, I know you're not.
Parts of it, it's kind of boring.
It
I
has
was
been
watching,
kind
I
of
was
boring.
watching a little bit of it too. Yeah, I found it kind of boring.
I did too. I thought it was going to be, from the opening statements, I thought it was going to be wild.
What did you guys watch? A naked dude runs into a Waffle House and starts shooting up the place and gets beaten up by a person in the Waffle House while he's naked and he's running through the parking lot naked. What is boring about this, guys?
See
Help
why
me
we
out.
need you here? It's not boring when you explain it like that.
Perhaps, Mo and Shmita, if you wanted me to follow this case, you should have led with naked man shooting.
Well, I told you that he thought he was in a relationship with Taylor Swift and that she raped him. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Art him. Crap.
I didn't get that far. I just saw his
Clip that out.
I
Flip
can't.
it.
you know.
All right, you guys, I'm going to hop off. I'm picking up the girl from gymnastics, but love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, chat. Dr.
Bye,
B.
T. It was so good to catch you.
Yes, I'm glad that you hopped on because I was like, where the heck have you been? All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye,
Okay,
Teresa.
bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 stripes. There's nothing. I'm very frustrated by this. Sorry. It's nothing
What are
to do
you
with
looking
you, but
for?
I'm looking to see if if there's an update on whether that trial is going to be streaming or not.
I looked it up too, and Court TV did a thing about it when they were trying to. Well, you can look on Court TV, so it might be on there.
Okay. Thank
I mean,
you.
they might show it on there.
Right. I knew what you meant.
Well, whenever the judge decides if they're gonna allow media, it'll say like if it's like an open pool or what
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Is like
channels it'll be.
yeah, like an update as far as
Well, he needs to decide. It's on Wednesday
yeah,
or Thursday.
Thursday. Bye, Joanne. Have a good night.
All right, ladies, I'm gonna jump off too. I just wanted to say hi to everyone, and I wanted to say I miss you
Hi.
guys.
I
And
miss you too.
yeah,
miss
I'll
you
be
too.
joining another trial, hopefully.
Yes.
Well, I can't wait for you too because it's always funnier when you're here too.
I'm getting there. I'm getting
I
there.
know.
Thank
That's
you
why I
guys
don't
for
want to be
being
pressuring
patient
you.
with me.
Well, Todd should be up Wednesday and Thursday, so it's a two-parter. So if you have one of those days free.
So we'll have to. Well, we don't do
'Cause I-
Thursday, right? Because Teresa's
Oh,
gone.
yeah, that's right.
Is it every Thursday that she has class, or is it just
Yeah.
last day? Okay.
I think it's every Thursday.
Okay, that would make more sense. Yeah. Okay.
So Todd's testimony is a two-parter, Mo?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
would think for you because
It's what, hour and a half each side?
yep.
It's 3 hours total.
Yep.
That's a long day on the stand for somebody. Although we've been talking for 2 hours and 33 minutes, but not nonstop. Like we've had several breaks listening to expert Travis over here.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
we're also not sitting in like a confession box or whatever the hell you call that thing.
You know,
No, that's
back
for
in-
sure.
I don't know if it's all the same day. They might have split him up.
You know that back in the day when people were tried, that they had to stand while they testified?
Ew.
Oh Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those people that like, if we're not like moving, if we're like standing around doing whatever, I'm like gazing somewhere to sit. What can I lean on?
You're
What
scanning
can I
for comfort.
set my butt on?
You're like a cat. If I fits, I sits.
Same.
Yes.
Me
If we
too.
idle in one spot too long, I am getting comfy.
I will be traveling like across whatever, half the globe, and I'll be sitting in an airplane for like 12 hours, and I'll get out, find a smoke box, and look to sit down because I'm tired.
That's how I am. That's how I
Me
am.
too.
I've been I remember when I drove from Texas to Georgia. Of course, it's a long drive, and I was sitting the entire time. And then, as soon as we got to my sister's, I was like, "I need to sit down." Like I hadn't just been sitting down for the last like 10 hours.
Exactly.
I don't even take a shower because I don't like standing up that long.
Oh,
I
wish
take a
had
bath.
Now, please finish that because
I
that'll
was
be the
like,
next
wait a
thing.
minute, that didn't sound right.
That'll be the next thing that's clipped.
That is hilarious, Mo.
Momo juror number 4 doesn't shower.
It takes
I
too
got
long
that
to
from
stand there.
Seinfeld. What's her name on Seinfeld said that?
Elaine?
That was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is hilarious.
More like a George thing to say, but it's funny that it was Elaine that said it. All right, you guys. Well, I think I'm gonna end this for tonight, and we will see you guys back here tomorrow at the same time in the same place. But I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. It was a cool and a great conversation. Thank you, Dr. B, for joining us. Thank you, Mo, for hauling ass home to join us. Thank you, Shamita, for joining
Thank
us.
you
Thanks,
for
guys.
having me.
Yeah, I was
me
like,
go
what did I do?
having you.
Nothing.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. You busted out the hand pictures we needed.
Oh, there you go.
And
Yep.
you brought up her
Hunting.
why her knees were messed up.
Yeah.
I
and
heard
the
that at
hunting.
work, and I was laughing. Everybody's looking at me.
Yeah. And the hunting thing, because those are important searches to know. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not just
I went back and I like zoomed in on some of the ones in the past, but they've got ones that have like they cherry picked. Like I'm irritated with it because when
Right.
you see
No,
all
we
the
need to
ones
get it.
around it, you can see the Hunter's Ed study guide. Although this one says Montana, and yeah, like it.
Well,
It's
there are
clear as day that they're looking for the answers to these study
Right.
Well,
guides.
yeah.
right.
And
that,
he explains that.
that it's not this nefarious search. And that's
Right.
important. And I wish that well, maybe that's we'll have to see what the what Todd's testimony is. But anyway, I want to say thanks to everybody again. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.